Good afternoon. It's Monday, April 26, 2021. This is Brandon, host of Brandon's Show. Hope everybody's doing good out there. Hope you all had a good weekend. I see quite a few people in the chat. It's a good start to the show. We've got Ian Adams, Brandon Cook, Matrix Media, Chrissy Heavey, Rune Thornton, Helen Degenerates, The Snark, Earthlarp, Dumpster Fire, Enigma, Allie B, and Bill G, who was first. Congratulations. Hope everybody's doing good. What do we got planned for tonight? Well, not much. We'll see where it goes. We got a bunch of people in Discord already, so let's go on in there. And let's cross our fingers we're not talking about the same damn picture everybody's been talking about for a week, because that's going to drive me crazy. But we'll see.
No, I really do care what I believe, because I want to believe something that is correct. I don't believe in La La Land or fantasy. If the globe Earth is wrong, then fuck it. I will ditch it. But if it's right and you guys are wrong, I want to know if it's wrong.
Okay.
The density
Hold
is.
on. So, what you believe, is it correct?
I'm open to the possibility that is incorrect. Yes. Are you? Are you open to the possibility that the flat Earth is incorrect, or you're 100% confident that it is actually flat Earth?
It depends. Are you open to the idea that unicorns are real?
If you can provide me an evidence that it is actually real, then I have no other way to actually argue against you. Yes, absolutely.
Okay, well, there you go.
If you can provide it, yeah.
So if the standard is going to be anything that we can imagine in our heads is technically possible.
Also in chat is they.
If we're going to have better standards
No,
for
I
our
would
conversation,
disagree.
which is if there's no credible, verifiable, repeatable evidence, then we consider it impossible. Then no, it's impossible for the Earth to be a globe.
I would say this statement is impossible because, for example, if I say, is it possible that you do not exist? That is illogical, inconceivable, improbable. It is because it is impossible, because it actually, like, your existence is prior to any thought that you come up with.
Right,
So
it would be impossible for us not to exist. We must exist.
This is a one example where I can say it is impossible. What I'm saying is for the unicorn is allegedly like a mythic creature. He is a horse with a unicorn, with a corn into its head.
That's you putting a preconceived notion on it.
That's my definition of a
deciding
unicorn.
that it's a mystical horse. That's a preconceived notion. That's a bias.
I'm sorry. This bias is out of my control. What I meant to say is that what we know of a unicorn is a horse with a unicorn on his head, like a horn. So that's what we call a unicorn. Okay. So that's what I meant.
Okay, Zayton, what if we told you gravity is a unicorn?
Then you need to show me why it's the unicorn.
Because you can't. Okay, would you be able to supply me with any scientific hypothesis that validated it?
I thought, are we gonna discuss why gravity is a unicorn, or like something else? I thought you said that gravity is a unicorn.
Yes.
Why is it a unicorn?
Because it's not scientifically validated.
Because it's not real.
Exactly.
How do you validate something scientifically?
First, you have to observe the natural phenomena. Then you have to set up the hypothesis and do the experiment.
Haven't they done this with the Cavendish experiment?
No.
What was the observed phenomenon before the
They
experiment?
sure have.
Things falls down.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. Observe phenomena, please.
Things falls down.
Things fall down.
Things falling down. Okay, hypothesis, please.
See, I told you we're gonna go to relative density and gravity, and then the shape of the planet. So it is all related.
That's not what I asked.
I'll answer your question. So don't pretend, guys, that relative density and gravity has nothing to do with the flat Earth, because we all know it is.
Up relative density.
You changed the subject. We're not talking about the flat Earth. We're talking about gravity.
We're gonna discuss. Sure. Some one of you will mention relative density, and I can bet my life.
No. I just want hypothesis for your things falling. That's all.
Yeah.
There must be a force holding things to the ground.
Things falls and they increase in the rate they fall at.
Zetman, you didn't get you didn't get the point. This has got nothing to do with the shape of the Earth.
I answered his question. The observed phenomenon is things falls, and while they fall, the rate of fall increases.
And what's the relevance of that question?
It's an observed phenomenon. I would love to discover the cause of this phenomenon. why things.
Listen, this is a
Right,
flat
but that's
Earth.
a different subject. That's what Sans, I think, is trying
Mark,
to explain to you is that
you
we can
respect there's
discuss
other
relative
people.
I was
density, we can
answering
discuss
someone's
gravity,
question.
but it won't
That's
tell us
fine.
what shape the Earth is.
I mean, it does. You know, like when we talk
No,
about
it
the
doesn't. It
ocean
will
and why
not
the
tell us at
ocean
all
sticks
because
to the
gravity
surface of
could
a
exist
ball.
on a flat
It
Earth
does.
if it was real.
Okay, but I'm still waiting.
Not really.
I'm still waiting for him to give me the IV and DV though.
It's a red herring. Why are we going down this road? It has
I
not.
don't know
Because-
it right now
because I'm proving
Brandon
to-
hasn't
I'm
jumped
proving-
in here yet after firing up the show. Once the show starts, I would like us to move on to something that's actually interesting
Yeah.
and
Good,
I
good man.
useful.
Well,
Okay,
now's a
okay,
good
that's
time
fine.
then
Then we
because
move
the
on
show
with a different
started.
subject.
Good evening,
Yeah.
everybody. What's going on?
Yay!
Hi, Brendan. How's it
Hey,
going?
Brandon.
Hey, what's up, guys? We've been listening for the last couple minutes, just seeing where it would go.
Hello.
So let me just call out who we got in here. We got Ali B, Bandsaw Bandit, Jeremy
Yeah.
FE, Flatzoid FE, Geo, Job, Left Lane, Rob on the Level Keen, Sans Serif, SE Montreal, the Adam Meekin, the Real Bob Dole, ZX Man, and myself. What's going on, guys?
I'm actually known as Mr. Nice Guy, so I would love to stay as Mr. Nice Guy. I'm popular in those circles as Mr. Nice Guy, so thank you.
Oh, Mr. Nice Guy. Did you just change your name or something? Did I say something else?
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, because I'm generally known as Mr. Nice Guy, so I'm gonna keep it this way so people know me.
Okay, Mr. Nice Guy. Cool. So what's
It's
going on,
also
guys?
like the original name is ZX Man, but I'm also Mr. Nice Guy. You guys can remember both.
Bro, we don't care. Nobody cares about you, bro. You're a troll from Gems.
That's so hard. Okay.
Guess what? Guess what? Guess
Thank
what?
you
The
for
Earth is still
beating me to
flat.
that.
Jeez, guys.
Jesus.
Oh, fuck. So what's going on, guys? You guys have a good weekend or what?
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Amazing weekend.
Yeah, the weather.
great.
The weather's changing. It's great
Pretty
to be
good.
alive.
The best weekend.
Had to cut the grass. We did some weed.
Except for Bandsaw.
action.
Bandsaw's going into cold weather.
Yeah, and
It is
it's pretty
getting a
cool
bit-
for the
got a bit
northern
nipply.
hemisphere. But I guess if you like fall, it's good down
Brandon,
here.
Brandon,
It doesn't
Yeah, it's
actually
getting
get cold in
colder.
Australia, does it?
somebody said
It's good fishing weather at the moment.
somebody said hemisphere.
Did I say hemisphere?
Uh-oh.
You did,
The
yeah.
hemisplane.
I'll flog
Off you go.
myself 10 times later.
Well,
No,
the
just-
South. We'll just say the South.
Good catch, Mark. Two Hail
Maybe
Marys
tell
for
us
you,
about
brother.
your fetishes there, Brandon.
We should
What
get
the
a
hell?
soundboard, play a sound effect every time someone says it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Us Southern boys are just getting cold now.
Yeah.
I said globe. I said glow all around the globe or something on Thursday or Friday. I was like, shit, they're gonna cut that out.
Hey, we love all our guys and dolls that live in the south or closer to the
Ice wall.
Antarctica.
The
Yeah.
southern hemisplane. There you go.
Okay, well, we can live with that one.
And you got to beware of what you say because Quantum Eraser is hunting.
Hunting.
Fuck Quantum
Hunting
Eraser.
for wabbits.
Numpty hunting.
Numpty hunting. Well, he'll have plenty of fodder here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Did anyone else watch that docking thing from SpaceX or whatever that took the crew up? Allegedly.
Yes.
Oh,
No, why was it
Allegedly, it's
real
actually
or was
a
it
true thing.
was it good CGI or what?
I told Jeremy, it looks like somebody
It is
playing with
real.
toys.
It
It's fantastic.
was good high
I
definition
told you
video.
to stop watching science fiction.
But here, I have something. I don't know if you guys can hear it whenever I play it. Whenever I share my screen. If I share my screen, will you guys hear the video?
I think so. Let's try it.
Because
Maybe.
this lady says something really weird, and I want you guys to hear it.
Okay.
Okay, so let me go ahead.
Interesting.
Hey, Bob, your
Fuck,
microphone's
man.
always low.
Looks
Do you
like
know that?
SpaceX.
So I'm on my iPad and I don't have a microphone plugged in. That's probably why. Let me
Oh,
know if
okay.
you guys can see my screen.
No,
you gotta get some
I
AirPods.
can
bro.
hear you very
Nice guy, settle
good,
down.
Bob.
You gotta get some AirPods, bro.
yeah, it's busy loading.
I mean, I do advertise that
Okay.
this is the home of the potato mic, so
what a
I guess it's not
background.
that bad.
It gets some aftershock.
Do you guys see this?
Yeah.
Do you see
Yeah,
the
we can
YouTube?
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Can you hear it?
patiently
Yep.
waiting,
Yeah.
docking to the International
Oh, yeah, that's fake.
Space Station.
Look,
Dragon on
just
its
listen to
second
what this lady
flight,
says. Listen to her
about
words.
to dock to the forward end of space station.
Coming up.
Been an endeavor on the big loop. Ike, we are not able to recover that video for the D2DM. So you
We're not
can
able to
close that
recover the
window,
video.
and we
Can
should
you
be
turn it
ready
up
to-
on your side, Bob? Is that possible?
Oh, I don't know if I can or not. But what she
pretty
said,
loud in my
I think what she
headphones.
says, we aren't able to recover that video on the like D2DM, and you can close that window. And I guess they're moving on to a different video or something like that. Which sounds to me like they can't find the video file they're looking for to play next,
Nah.
and they move on to the
Yeah.
next one.
It's a video footage. When they take things and record things by a camera, it's video footage. It's streaming video. Like haven't you went to Twitch streamers or something? They do it. It's very
Yes,
simple.
yes.
It's
Yes,
video
that's right.
stream. That's what they meant.
Exactly.
It's not that something conspiracy. It's easy.
Except what we were watching there was supposed to be them actually docking,
Actually
not
live.
just the video.
Yeah, it's live. It
They
was
can
live.
still show you how it's docking. They just missed a tiny bit, man. It's not that complicated. You can still see it docking. It's not the first time or the last time. They have done it multiple times before.
Or they just did it in the studio.
It seems really strange that their stream about pod actually docking has someone on the comms mentioning they can't find the docking video. Close that window.
And did you realize
It's
this
not
was
about the docking video. It's the footage video. It's like the streaming video. They can still
And
stream it for you.
Sure it is.
And Bob Dole, do you realize they did this before it even docked? They were saying they can't find it before it even docked.
No, there's a specific camera that is actually recording the stream of the docking chip. Like so, there are different cameras and angles. It's very simple, my dude.
Yes,
I feel like we're
they
in the
said they can't
Spaceballs
find
movie,
it.
and he's like, we're now. He's like, when was then? Remember that?
Hmm. Yeah.
I like. Why would they do it in the first place? Like, who they trying to joke around? Us? Like, if it's so poorly done, why they would bother? Since you guys have figured it out already, like, why
Because
would
They make a
bother?
lot of
Like, I don't
mistakes
get it.
already, though. Here, like, look at
Yeah.
this.
I
Can
mean-
you guys see my screen? Look at this one. I don't know what this
I mean,
is.
they
but-
don't have to put any effort in it if you're still believing in it.
Is this real?
Yeah.
I mean, then that will make me disbelieve in it. Like, they're
Are you
doing
sharing,
harm to
Brandon?
themselves.
They
You're
have
not
to keep
sharing,
putting-
Brandon.
Oh, hold on.
They have to keep putting stuff out, otherwise people become uninterested and wonder, what are we spending all this money on? So they got to keep putting stuff out.
I just wish they'd spend more
How
time on
many
character
viewers?
development.
That's not
They
true.
can't
How
do
many
nothing.
viewers that stream has?
20,000,
Oh.
Few thousands. Okay, how many millions lives in the United States?
300.
Okay, so apparently the majority don't give a fuck about the stream.
No, they
Yeah,
don't.
but those are like 20,000 nerds.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a lot of nerds, but I mean, not everyone's a nerd. All right, do you see this thing? Is that supposed to be real? I can't tell anymore what's supposed to be real and what's not supposed to be real.
Well, what are we looking at?
I don't know, it's some old satellite footage. I should go through this. It's on the NASA live official stream of NASA TV. I lost it now. It's like
What
this.
does NASA have to do with logging?
There it was.
Man, if you guys want to watch NASA stuff, watch that stuff from the 80s.
Oh, that's bad, right? I know,
Oh, it's so good.
especially the satellite
how did-
stuff. There's a couple of them where I'm like, no one can possibly think that's real, right?
But how do they have better image quality in the 80s than they do now?
How do they
I
what?
think it's real.
They have better image quality with satellites than they do now.
Those
Yeah, why?
satellites
Yeah,
that are-
they do use like 360 and 480p quite a bit. We see that a lot when we look at the footage, like the India footage.
Because if you're faking something, you want to put out the worst possible video footage. That way, it's hard to spot things that you're faking. You might have
Lower
fucked up. But if
quality,
it's terrible image quality, you can always just argue about it and say, "Oh, it's grainy, it's unclear."
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
digital
the more the quality,
artifact.
The easier it is.
Digital artifact.
Kind of like
there you go.
when you went to the moon and you don't give the live feed, you broadcast it on a wall and you make the
record it off
camera
a
cruise.
TV screen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The worst possible way you could ever fucking give somebody some video. Like, it couldn't
Exactly.
have got worse.
You see,
I've always thought too, like because movies are such high definition, if they were to release all this fake stuff in high definition, psychologically, you know what I mean? There's some kind of, it's like a polarity in some way. Like they try to make the fake stuff look lower quality, and then the movies look high quality, so that in people's minds they separate them instead of them blending together.
Don't you think this is a bit presumptuous to actually speculate and postulate those things? Like, how would you know that? This is your own hypothesis. Where's the
because
proof?
simply because it seems like the quality of the fake stuff is so low, like almost purposefully low.
That's not true. Like you can look at the ISS feed right now, and you can see the Earth as high quality. What the fuck? They're choosing bad quality and high quality on whose web?
Are they showing the ISS live stream during the night yet, or are they still blacking out, losing satellite connection?
I don't know. You go check it out.
Do you have a peanut for a brain?
So like they sometimes show it you bad quality, sometimes they choose it good quality. Like on whom's when they're doing so, like for whom as well, us or you.
Mr. Nice Guy, can you try? Do you think they would see a laser if it had to be pointed at them when they fly by?
I don't think so. I don't know. It's too far, too tiny. I don't think you could aim it.
Okay. There we go.
What if we get
But
like
yet we can point one to the moon, right? These guys are in La La Land.
You can point one to the moon.
I mean, he asked me if I can point a fucking laser. I can't point a laser to the fucking ISS. I don't know. Maybe you can get the machine that
You
can
can't
calculate
point
the
your
position
dick in a
exactly,
toilet
and they
bowl.
can. I can point my dick on your ass. That's for sure. I can.
Oh shit!
It's so shiny, so soft. I can do it very easily. I can know what's Jeremy's ass.
Share your pain, brother.
That went downhill really
Let's
fast.
start a new one.
Typical Glober, sex maniac.
Well, you got to understand, Joe.
That
they've all grown up
escalated
with these-
quickly.
They've all grown up with these dreams about having sex with an alien or some shit from Star Trek.
I agree.
Yeah.
Was it that green chick that did it for you?
No, it's the blue one.
Jeremy.
I mean, William Shatner was the man. He was he was getting a lot of alien chicks, and I mean, who didn't want to bang an alien?
I would be scared they had teeth.
You remember those green chicks on Star Trek?
I never thought they were hot.
You know?
I don't know.
I mean, if they're because there's like a difference between like fucking like a horse. Like a horse isn't sentient, but like an alien, you're
A horse.
Huh?
Oh, you're not going to have sex with the
Does that look real to you, Brandon?
Where
are
the
we
hell
going?
did you correlate a horse, Toby?
Why does that look like plastic to me? It looks like plastic.
It looks like plastic to me too. It looks like a model, big time.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like a model to me too. That's the first thing I thought.
That's
Looks
what
like
I'm
it's in a
talking about. It
swimming
looks like
pool to me.
someone's playing
I don't know
with their
about you
toys.
guys.
Lord have mercy.
You know, it could be real. Who knows?
It could, but boy, does it look fake.
But it's super not. Look at that.
Even
So,
the,
It looks
even the
hold on.
movement.
like
In
somebody
order to
took
say,
some
in order to
software
say,
and put that station overlaid it over the running background of the Earth, and started moving that little pod and overlaid that over the black part, and they're just using the program to move those a little bit closer together.
no, wrong.
They could
You
never.
can't
They
say-
would never.
You can't say it's
They make
fake
sure to
unless
point
you have
out,
an
by the way-
idea how it look like in real life. You can't say it is
Pretty
fake
sure at
unless
least
you have
2
an
times
idea
that lady
in
points
how it
out
would look like in
that
real life.
Those things are actually moving 17,000
by your
miles
logic,
an
we
hour.
can't
You
tell.
can't say it's fake.
So by
Look
your
at that
logic,
red-
we
It's
can't
like,
tell
man,
that
it's
Star
fake.
Wars is fake because we don't know
Look
what
at
a
that-
star looks like.
Look
Mr.
at that
Nice
red
Guy.
ring.
No, we would.
Mr. Nice
Look
Guy.
at the red ring,
Where,
how uneven it is.
Mr. Nice Guy, where are you from? Your accent.
Where I'm from is irrelevant.
No,
I'm saying you wouldn't know if it's
He's
fake
from
unless
Belgium.
you know how it
He's
would
from
look like
Turkey.
in real life.
If you want to know, he's from Turkey.
Right, okay. Listen, Mr. Nice Guy, if you've ever looked at Dutch art from 400 years ago, still life, that they were meticulous in every detail in their paintings. This is 400 years ago, and there's a photographic quality to it where you would really believe that is a lemon and that is a grape or an
Hyper-realistic.
orange.
Oh, hyper realistic painters. They've been around forever. Yeah.
Yes, they have.
Exactly.
Yeah, 400 years ago they were doing it. So whenever we're looking at something that's CGI, what's the difference from 400 years ago when these fantastic painters produced photographic imagery with a
I
paintbrush?
mean, in the 50s,
Fair enough.
they were
I
doing
agree with you.
airbrushing.
It is very possible that this CGI is very detailed, highly detailed. But then my question would be, then how would you know if it's actually fake or real? Because apparently they tried to make it look as real as possible. Then you need to provide me something how it would look like if it's not real.
You just made our point, though.
Yeah.
Thank you,
if there's,
No, I know you guys have
He
nothing.
doesn't know what he's
Go ahead.
doing.
if there's a doubt about it, then you can't be conclusive, can it? You
This
can't
is
draw any
stop
conclusion.
motion. This is stop motion. Check,
You can actually.
check out.
And if you
can't-
have
it
no
just- the
way
burden
to
of proof
actually
is on you.
verify it, then you have no obligation to believe it.
Brendan,
So it's fake.
you see, this is
No,
stop motion.
we have a video footage. We have a video
Can you
footage.
see it?
of
Okay,
something
well, we
that
have
is
video
real.
footage of Darth Vader.
Your
but
claim,
guess what?
your claim
I can't
is
verify
fake.
Darth Vader, so he's fake.
We can. He is
Brandon,
fake.
you see,
And actually,
you see that stop motion?
Oh, wait. Did you just claim that you could prove
On
Darth
this?
Vader doesn't exist?
Yeah, it looked like it was
Is
stop
that what
motion.
you just claimed?
Darth Vader does exist. Yes.
I thought
You
we were
can claim-
debating Star Wars before
You're
this
claiming
happened.
that you
Now
can
it's
prove
come to
something
fruition.
doesn't exist.
Darth Vader does exist, my dude. Who are you kidding?
In reality?
Yes,
Yeah.
he's Luke's father. Of course he exists.
Darth Vader is a real person.
Okay. Hey, if
What the
that's your
fuck?
starting point, then we don't really have to
Why'd you
discuss anything
spoil
else.
that?
We aren't starting from the same foundation, so we probably won't get anywhere.
Sorry, I spoiled you. Well, I
I'm
thought I
working
didn't know
from
that
reality.
you
You're
thought.
not.
I am looking from reality, and Darth Vader is a
you're
real
not.
person.
You think Darth Vader is a real person, so
What
you're
a
not
useless
working from
angle.
reality.
Yeah, he is a real
I
person.
No,
am.
he's not.
Who do you think he's playing Darth Vader then?
An actor, you dumbass.
Don't you guys want?
Yeah, and an actor is a real person who's wearing Darth Vader's clothes. So
Yes,
Darth Vader
the
is
actor
real.
who plays Darth Vader is a real person, but Darth Vader is played by an actor.
All right, this guy's got to go.
I
Yeah.
feel
Don't
like
you
this
guys
needs
wanna
to be
talk-
really,
Like, mute
really
him
This
and
guy's a
mute
troll,
him.
guys. I
Real-
heard him before. He's a troll.
I told these
Can
guys
we
off
talk-
the jump.
This guy sounds like Branch from Gems, but without being drunk.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
a sober brain.
It's like a sober version of. It's a sober Branch. It's Branch minus 6 beers.
Just as delusional.
Yeah.
though.
Check the back.
Just six?
Check the back there. Check how
You're calling me
pixelated the back
delusional,
part is.
Jeremy? Shame on you.
Yes. You
I
just
thought
told
we
us
were
Darth
friends.
Vader's a real person. You're not delusional?
You're not getting the point, man. There's
The
a
point is,
point
you think
behind
Darth
it.
Vader's a real person, and you're trying to claim now that you're not delusional.
Is this the
I
latest
said Darth
one,
Vader
Brandon?
exists.
What's that?
Is
I
this
did
the
not
latest
say Darth
copy?
Vader is an expert.
What you're showing? The latest one?
I think so. Let
Yeah.
me see. It's from 24th April. So SpaceX Crew 2 docks with space station in these awesome views.
You can't possibly say Darth Vader
Yeah, and
is
how
a
would you
real
know it's
person,
fake?
and then in the next sentence claim that you're not delusional.
How would we
And
know
it's
it's
a
fake?
fucking
How
rhetorical
would we
thing
know
I
it's
have
real?
said.
How do we know that this is real?
Jeremy is
according
is
to the
so
boss,
thirsty
if it
for
looks
catching
fake-
up something.
Then you know it's real, Brandon.
Oh,
I told him. That's how you know it's
Okay,
real.
this footage of the ISS. Okay, how would you know it's fake?
You can see it.
how would we
What's
know
your
it's
proof?
real?
It would have to look real. If it looked real,
Well,
then we'd know it was fake. But since it looks
So you
fake,
don't
Well,
know
we
then.
know
Since
it's
it looks
fake.
fake,
so
we
don't-
know
so
it's
don't
We
say
real.
know
it's
it's
fake.
fake
Well-
because it's not proven to be real.
And it's
Okay, that doesn't make any
and it's
sense.
situated in a violation of nature.
If you can't prove God, it doesn't mean you disprove
False
God. It's the same
analogy.
thing, so
False
we don't
analogy.
know.
According to the
You
CEO,
can't
we
falsify
know
or
it's
verify.
real
You
if it
can't
looks
have an
fake,
opinion.
no? According
If
to
you
the
can't
CEO.
prove
violation
something,
of
it's not
nature.
Second
Yeah,
of
we
all,
know
well,
God's
that's
real
decided of
because
the time
we
of
have
birds,
creation,
actually.
and with creation, you need a creator.
check. Look at the stop motion. All right.
I personally,
I've-
after watching
guys-
The Mandela Effect this weekend on Netflix, I'm starting to think we're in a simulation.
What guys? What happened? What happened to social
I hate you.
distancing? I thought we were all supposed to social distance.
Jeremy, Jeremy, hang on. Sometimes you
Why is
say some
everyone
smart things, and then sometimes you say some really dumb things.
Have you seen the movie?
No.
All right.
What is it? Is it a like a fiction or is it a documentary or what?
It's fiction. It's fiction.
Is it good?
It was pretty good. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I liked it. Made some good points about us being in a simulation, kind of relating towards the Mandela effect, but which I I mean, if the effect's a real thing. A lot of people believe different things. The cause of it is when people start getting crazy with it. But
Okay, Jeremy.
the one
Jeremy,
guy,
just wait.
I thought it.
Just wait. Is a simulation created?
Yeah. Of course.
How would you know this?
Why? Why would you ask?
How would you know it?
Who
How would I
created
know?
the
There's
simulation, Jeremy?
A creator.
Yeah, and who created
Maybe
these
multiple creators.
simulation?
Who knows?
And who created those creations?
Dude, I don't. That's a fallacy.
Infinite regress fallacy. Cut it out.
Come on, bro.
It's not the fallacy.
Infinite regress.
The
Definitely
point is,
infinite regress.
Infinite regress.
There's a lot of subtle hints that would suggest we're living in a simulation, like the double slit experiment. If you were running a simulation, you wouldn't render everything at once. You would only render what people are observing. It's the same way we do it in video games. We don't render everything. You only render what the person's viewing.
Jeremy, it seems really
to
strange
save
that
hard
you think that double slit experiment is real.
The double slit experiment is specifically trying to explain the phenomenon when things behave as wave or as particles. And there is something called the hidden wave or the pilot wave or the ghost wave, where basically things are given their own properties or those hidden variables as the location and the momentum, or the vector of the velocity. Those things would make those patterns appears as wave. It's not the end of the simulation.
I'm still up for settle down. I'm still up for we could be in I'm like 50-50 on simulation petri dish scenarios. So
you think we're like little like troglodytes?
You're begging the question.
Like in a warehouse of like millions and trillions or billions of these little petri dishes with all little civilizations in them.
How would you say it's a petri dish who you still haven't proved the Earth is flat yet?
No.
How can you say this? And
it's my belief,
contradict
bro.
yourself?
It's just a belief.
No,
Everyone settle down.
Your belief is wrong, my dude. I can believe in the unicorn, but still the unicorn
How
doesn't
do you
exist.
fucking know?
No, Jeremy. We're just G.I. Joes in some kid's playground.
That's what I mean. There's a whole I don't know. Whatever. It's just my belief. So there's good evidence.
There are pictures from space that shows that the Earth is a globe.
Pictures. There's not one picture.
Hey,
There's not
Jeremy,
one
you
picture.
redeemed yourself a little bit there by calling it your belief. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just a belief.
Can I just get back to that video for 1 second? Is it my imagination, or is everyone in that space station, well, pretty much everyone look like they're north of 45 years old,
Not a belief,
and a bit overweight? Are there no young people in NASA anymore? Is there no smart young people? They're all fat old dudes that get sent up into space, or what?
Well, I
No,
mean,
but
Don
these guys-
is a
You're actually wrong. There has been young people into space and the ISS, but they actually
Name one.
rotate.
Name one, egghead.
Don
Google
Pettit
it.
is a perfect-
What's the
Don
youngest
Pettit is a
person on the ISS?
Elephant hurling fallacy.
Yeah.
who's the
a
youngest
perfect
person on
example
ISS?
You
of
don't
how
know.
they're.
You Google it. Google
Brandon,
That's the
Google
elephant
it.
hurling fallacy. You have to prove it to me.
Don Pettit
Is there no young genius MIT graduates in the NASA space program? Are they all 45, 50-year-old fat dude with no hair?
Well, Don Pettit is a perfect
That's not an
example of how.
astronaut.
Settle down, Joe. Is my mic low?
A little bit
you're
on and
okay.
off, yeah.
Yeah, listen. Don Pettit is not fat and bald. He may be retarded, but he's not fat.
My favorite astronaut, and he's also proof that they're not hiring the brightest, smartest people of our time. Because if you've ever heard him talk, you know that's not the case.
Yeah, they should take you, Jeremy, with the smartest in here.
Are we talking about Pettit?
Brandon, what's on the menu tonight?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yo, am I good now?
You're
Just
good.
saying,
A little better.
we're just saying the Earth is still flat.
I was saying that the ISS maybe need to take Jeremy because he's the brightest of us.
Apparently, we're just gonna allow the troll to continue to talk during the show.
Yeah,
Settle
And
down.
I told you guys you should have got rid of him 10 minutes ago.
We're just having a
told him
conversation. What's
to-
the problem, guys?
He's just providing a little opposing view.
Obfuscation, were you gonna say?
Yeah.
Left leg.
You guys need to have
you know
some
what?
resistance.
You know what?
So
Let's
it's
say
like
he's bringing
I
a little
blame Darth Vader.
retardation into the conversation.
Yeah, I blame Darth Vader.
So
I'm like the hook
who's
of,
got a
to
subject? Is there
reality.
something somebody wants to talk about? Somebody got a subject that they want to bring up?
Anything
We can talk
besides
about
Darth
ISS if you
Vader
want.
and Unicorn.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah.
Throw it
I've
out
got
there.
something.
Go for it.
Identifying red herrings.
Okay.
We're in a debate of is the Earth flat or is it a globe? And there's a lot of red herrings involved in this that removes what we're really discussing. And one of them is relative density. That is my pet hate. It tells us
gravity.
It tells us nothing about the shape of the Earth.
It does tell us a lot about why things go up or down, though.
But that's not that. But does it tell us anything about the shape of the Earth?
Yep. Yeah, but
It is the
see
cause of the
difference
shape
is-
of the Earth. Yes, the reason why the Earth
different-
is a globe is because of gravity.
Right,
ultimately, yes.
right.
Yeah, but the globe side needs the gravity debate. We don't need that.
But,
The Earth,
I
but
think
no,
it could
but,
be mass
but
attraction
hang
mass
on,
a
no,
flat
Mark.
Earth.
Yeah, the debate.
Oh, we don't need to show you
we
gravity
are
to
debating.
prove. Yeah, I mean, we don't need to invoke gravity to show you that the Earth is a globe, but we can actually even do something even more than that. We can tell you why the Earth is globe is because of gravity as well.
Yeah,
So-
you
Well, you
absolutely
haven't
must
proven it
have it
yet.
in your model.
it's a red
If
herring.
not, your model falls to
I told you
pieces
we
without
don't
that.
need gravity to prove the globeness of the planet or the curve of the planet. We can do it without invoking gravity.
Okay, let's
but we
see
can
it
also
proof.
do something. We can also do something
That's
better.
false.
We can tell you how or what caused the planet to become
That's false.
an oploid sphere.
No,
What was it?
without
It's because of
gravity,
That's
your
gravity.
false.
fantasy doesn't work, my dude.
Exactly.
Forget about it.
Gravity.
Yeah,
Your gravity is
saying
your
fantasy will not
It's a
make it
chicken and
fantasy.
egg argument. No
Your
gravity,
gravity
no
is your
globe,
glue.
no globe,
Exactly.
no gravity. It's chicken
Yeah.
and egg.
Yes,
Yeah.
Your
sir.
gravity is your glue. Your gravity is your glue. Without the gravity, there is nothing.
Amazing.
Ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen, the bottom line is that the Earth presents itself as flat and motionless. We don't
Exactly.
need to get bogged down with relative density or gravity or a gas pressure next to a vacuum. How does the Earth present itself? Flat and
Natural selection and evolution did not make you entitled to actually feel those small changes. So no, you're not
Oh.
Why are
entitled
you
to
naming
feel
more
the
fantasy
motion of
concepts?
the Earth. You need
Natural
accurate
selection and
measurements,
evolution don't
sensitive
do anything
tools
Okay,
because
to
they're
feel
not
those
guys.
things.
real.
Okay, but if you really
Yep.
want to go to it, can you still just provide us with this hypothesis and experiment that I asked earlier?
What
Yeah,
things?
So things fall down.
what's that got to do with the shape of the Earth?
It's the cause of the shape of the Earth.
Is it?
Remember, yes,
the Earth-
for the globe
It is.
For the globe,
Yeah.
it's
Wait,
false.
hold on. Did you
Wasn't he
just
just
make
saying
the
that
statement
gravity has nothing
that
to
you
do
know
with the
the
shape?
cause of a thing that you haven't proven even is yet?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's already proven, but you
No,
don't believe
It's
it.
not
Yeah, no,
proven.
that's
It
the
is
thing. It is
proven.
proof.
It's
It
not
is
proven.
proof.
That's my whole point.
It's not proven.
Can I-
That's the
Absolutely.
whole
It's
discussion that we're having
absolutely
right
proven.
now, and he's saying that
That-
was the cause.
Wait,
That's why I'm waiting
Howard,
for
what's
the
absolute
hypothesis.
proof?
The cause before we've actually finished the
It's
discussion on the
absolutely
thing
I
we're
mean,
trying to
some people
prove.
believe in. Some people believe in Buddha, some people believe in Hindu, some people believe in different gods, but there's only one and true God. It doesn't mean if they believe in it that it is actually true. It's Christian logic, there's only one truth, and the truth is gravity exists, and gravity is the cause that made the shape of the planet as it is now. We don't need to invoke gravity to show you why the Earth, if the Earth is globe or flat, but we can even do something better. We can actually tell you why is the Earth is globe because of gravity. We can do something
Okay.
better, more than
What
better
is
than
gravity then?
You
What is
say that's
gravity
the
then?
one and
Oh,
only
for
one,
God's
right?
sake, gentlemen, gravity has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth.
Good job,
What is
Mark.
gravity?
You
That's the whole
brought
reason
it
the Earth is
up.
round.
Oh
It
shit!
is.
Way to get away from that
the Earth
gravity
is-
topic.
Wouldn't gravity be the whole reason
just
why the
giving you
Earth is
shit.
round? What do you
Nobi,
mean?
relax.
It is.
According to their fantasy, yes.
Who?
Oh,
I
for
mean, that's
fuck's
so
sake.
silly.
Um,
The Earth is the way it's shaped because of gravity. Like you fucking know that. Give me a fucking break.
Of
course it is.
I just
I
want,
mean,
So
we
silly.
know things that reach an equilibrium.
This is the mistake that we're making. The globe needs gravity. Why does the flat side need to go into that discussion when the Earth clearly presents itself as flat and motionless?
It does not.
We don't need gravity.
Because
We
they
don't-
claim
we
to
need gravity.
because they
Gravity
claim to
already
have
exists.
shut up, nice guy. Because they claim to have scientific evidence of this gravity.
It's
and
a
they
red
don't,
herring.
But
It's a red herring. Forget about gravity and disequilibrium or whatever they want to call it. The Earth clearly presents itself as flat and motionless, and
It
everything,
does not.
it does.
Again, you're not entitled with natural selection to give you the adequate tools and the senses to sense those things. I'm telling you, you can build
What
more
natural
sensitive.
selection?
You
Did
can
you see-
you can
Natural
build more
selection
sensitive.
hasn't
Hold
done
on,
anything
you
for
can build
anyone
you can
because it's
build
not real.
much better sensitive tools that can detect those things. Nobody
Right,
can
yeah,
see
you better
radio
let Phil
waves.
take over,
Nobody
bro.
can see
Mr. Nice-
microwaves.
Come on. Can we?
Hold-
Yes,
can
we
you
can
see
see the-
radio waves?
On.
Yeah,
Mr. Nice
yes, we
Guy?
can see the effects of radio waves. Get to the point.
No, you can't
Mis-
see the effect of the
Mr.
radio
Nice
waves.
Guy?
You need tools to see
Yeah, we
radio
can.
waves.
Mr.
No, you
Nice Guy?
can't.
Another red
Mr.
herring.
Nice Guy?
We could turn on a radio and we could hear the static.
Our senses are limited. We need tools to embrace them and even make them greater and much more powerful, and that's why we can gain more knowledge.
Mr. Nice Guy, when did something that's ever just been one turn into two by itself?
Again, slower, please.
When did you ever observe something that's a single organism, turn into two by itself?
I never did.
Then how can you say natural selection?
Do you really want
I've
to go
seen
into
one
natural
thing turn
selection?
Let's not-
into all the
let's
time.
not-
You
I think
ever
it's a
cut
little
a-
bit.
you ever-
Let's
you ever
not.
cut a
Yeah,
worm in half?
let's not. Let's stick with the flat Earth.
You ever cut a worm in half?
Yeah.
You cut it in half, it didn't turn into
I've
two
watched
by
cells
itself.
divided under a microscope. I've watched
True,
cells
but
divided
It could have
under a
happened
microscope.
naturally. Could have a rock
Yeah,
fall.
well, there is
But
natural
Howard,
selection
they
is as
divide
fat
into
as
the same thing. They
your
don't.
flat Earth is.
Yeah,
A single
Yeah.
cell organism doesn't become a two-cell organism. The one would
Exactly.
duplicate itself into a replica of itself. Single
No.
becomes single.
Mhm.
Yeah, I understand.
Actually, it's not always true, by the way. Sometimes in the replication, when actually copying the genes, the DNA, actually sometimes a mutation happens and they're no longer the same.
And then it dies.
We've never
Actually, it
seen a
doesn't.
good mute.
No, not
It doesn't.
necessarily. Not
The
necessarily.
mutation happens.
Sometimes
No, it
stronger.
doesn't.
Sometimes it makes it stronger.
No, it doesn't.
Exactly.
No, when?
So no, it's not the
When?
same. So
Listen,
this means
let's
When
get off
is
this
this?
topic.
guys,
'cause I'm
this
gonna
is
be
too
getting-
much for you guys. Let's go back to the ship.
What do you mean by
Let's get
you
off
guys?
this topic because I'm going to be getting mean messages from QE any second now if we keep this up.
Yeah, let's get back
That's
to
a
the
tr-
shape of the planet.
Everybody gets cute, mean messages from QE. That's all he can do.
Yep. Yeah, but how's it
Hey,
on?
Don.
Let's hear from the troll. Hey, troll, when does water start to curve in your fantasy?
Water's curved everywhere.
Mr.
Kind of silly question is that?
Everywhere?
Who is troll, by the way? I can't
It's
find the
you.
troll guy.
Oh, that would be you. You're the latest troll.
Yeah.
So sorry.
I'm not. Why am I troll?
Because your questions have been asking, and
Bro, we
I
know
mean,
who
you've
you
been
are.
saying
What do you
Darth
mean,
Vader's
why?
real.
What do you mean, why am I a
Wh-
troll?
why am I
know
a
who
troll?
you are, bro.
Are all Glovers trollers now?
No, but
if
you
you say-
definitely are.
Pretty much, yeah.
So why am I a troll then?
Yeah,
Well,
if you say
okay,
Darth
all
Vader.
flat earthers are trollers now. You are a troll
we
now.
do have some
Stop
trolls.
censoring
That's true.
trolling, please.
Yeah.
Attack the argument, not the person.
What is your
please.
argument?
Let's
Okay,
not
sorry to hurt your
character
feelings. When does
assassinate.
water start to curve in your
When does water start curving in my fantasies?
fantasy globe? Yes.
That's an ill-informed question. Sorry, the question is wrong.
What?
Amazing.
What do you mean the question is wrong?
Okay,
Are
I'll
you
make
high
it
or
clearer for you. You have two people. You're on one boat. The other person is on the other boat. You're about 6 miles apart. The water in
this is an old
between
one.
you, how does it look? Is there a curve there or is there a hump there? Please let Mr. Nice Guy answer.
It's definitely not flat.
That's for sure.
I could
and
swear
it
that
is
was
curved.
Professor Phil.
It is
Flazoid.
curved. Yeah.
I don't know if or not.
Yeah.
Flazoid, did you get my presentation? Well, I was trying to break down in that video.
Yeah, quite good. Yeah, I did comment on the video.
Did you understand that?
Are you guys skipping over my question? Did you guys not hear my question
not
there?
gonna
To
It's irrelevant, man. Move on.
I think
You said it's
everybody's
curved.
tired of
so
this.
you're not answering. Let's.
Your
You are
question
not answering the
already
question,
answered.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Let's move on. I already answered. It's curved. Let's move on.
What do you mean it's curved?
It,
Both
I see
people.
the-
Hold on, guys. Please give me a second with him. You mean both people see a curve on either side?
No, they see obstruction.
correct.
Do they see a hump or a drop? What kind of obstruction do they see?
I disagree with the wording of hump because hump entails an already defined line, a plane, a surface, where the plump is actually the same for those two observers. Hump only exists on flat surfaces already to it, and there's a hump to it.
Call it
We're
the
already
sagitta,
telling you
Essie.
exactly the sagitta, and there's no sagitta on this planet, so it's only
Great.
curved, no hump.
So you envision hold on one more, because you're definitely in La La Land. You envision a hump or a drop without elevation change. Is that what you're saying?
There is an obstruction. It's because the Earth is curved, and every position, every location you're gonna take this measurement, you can always make a plump up, and it will always be vertical.
That's not what I asked you.
To the surface.
That is not
means
what I
something
asked
that
you.
the Earth is actually curved. It is.
Everybody's listening to this, right?
Yeah.
There's no hump. It's only
Nice
curved.
guy. You should let
There's no
Professor
hump.
Phil take over. Seriously.
Yeah, you're embarrassing
sit
yourself.
down, dude.
Sure,
You're
he can.
useless.
Okay, I'm useless. I love you too.
Bombard can be
Alright, cool.
horizontal or vertical on any plane.
No, you're wrong.
Yes, a horizontal plane is going to be vertical everywhere.
It's vertical to the center of the gravity force, my dude.
Does this guy understand on a horizontal plane is going to be
He has
vertical
no
everywhere?
clue, bro. You're talking to a
You
nitwit.
don't have a horizontal plane. It's your fantasy land.
Give me a minute, please.
Hey, so real quick, Flatzoid. I'm not trying to like
Yeah.
deviate the conversation. Okay, so let me get to you. Okay, so Tango Ice Blast is 108 feet tall. Blackpool Tower is 519 feet tall. They're 1.6 miles away from each other. Why is Tango Ice Blast actually it's Blackpool Tower is only about 30 to 40% taller? Because it's closer to you. Welcome to Flat Earth.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And not to mention the elevation was rising with distance there, not going down.
Yep. Well, yeah, that's
Just
what
Not only
converging.
that, didn't that guy just say you see an obstruction? Well, where's the
Exactly.
obstruction in the picture?
Exactly.
Mhm.
There's
They have
you
two.
don't look over a hill and not have a horizon. It's impossible. But they've abandoned that.
The
I found out
horizon
what's
can only be
blocking
10
it.
k's away. Yeah.
Delusion
Because
saying
of
it's
twin
impossible
boat
does not make it
paradox has
impossible.
them double speaking,
You
triple
just
speaking.
said it. You just said
It's not a
you saw
paradox. That's
an
it.
obstruction. But where
I found
is
out
it
what's
in that
Don't-
picture?
blocking it.
Hold on,
Right.
let's get to the bottom of this.
If you're high enough.
I think we need to get to the bottom of this because
this is not hard.
you bring up this paradox, Essie, and Jeremy, every time he brings it up, you say it's not a paradox. What is this paradox?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, what's the paradox you brought up? Yeah.
Well, the twin boat paradox goes like this, Brandon. It's in a form of a question. We have two identical boats, two people of the same height. The boats are about 6 to 8 miles apart. And the question goes like this. What do the two from the deck of the boat? Do they see a hump between them or do they see a drop?
Both
Or
of
is there a
those
third
boats,
option?
both of the observers would see parts of the hull missing of the other boat. That's what would happen.
Oh, so what
You
are you
didn't
talking
even know
about
the
now?
distance.
So you
of the
mean a hump?
observer height.
Because I've
So
been
hump
looking at
then.
this photo for the last 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah, a hill.
Do you know what a tangent means?
A
Yes.
straight line
Yeah,
to
a
a curved
straight
surface.
line.
Do you know what going off
They-
a tangent means?
They would be looking straight ahead, and the other boat would be obstructed by the
By?
curve of the Earth.
So
You
there
said
would be a
hump or
rise
drop.
from the tangent. Is that what you're saying, Professor?
Would you like a diagram?
No, I'd like
just
you can do whatever you want. Say it in Chinese. Is there a hump there, or is there drops there? What are you saying exactly, Professor?
Okay.
What is
so
the
what
obstruction?
It is, so what it is that the person who's one of the people looking across is looking at a tangent to the surface. Now, as they
Straight
look at
line
the
then.
tangent to,
A
as they're
straight
looking at
line.
the tangent to the surface, the other vessel is beyond that tangent. Therefore, it can't be seen. It's
He
not
That's
didn't
not a hump
ask
then.
for names of what they're seeing.
Hump.
He wants you to
He
describe
said a
what
hump
they're
or
seeing.
drop. Yeah, hump or drop.
Yeah.
Simple. Just choose
Due
It's a
to
one.
what?
drop.
How
It's
it
a
looks
drop.
Geometric?
Choose one.
Of-
Hump or drop.
Of course, it's a drop because
Okay,
the person is
great.
looking at the tangent. The tangent is straight ahead. Now, beyond that, the Earth curves. And as the Earth curves, it's going to see less of the other object.
A tangent.
When does that horizontal line start curving, Phil? When you lay that tangent and it's a straight horizontal line, when does that all of a sudden start curving?
It curves all the way from your feet, Paige, but
well, then you don't have a tangent, Phil.
What do you mean? So the horizon's below the observer's feet?
A tangent needs
When does
to
that happen?
be a straight line. If you're saying that straight line is never straight,
Paige, it's
that it's always curving. Yeah, it's really not that hard. It needs to be a straight line.
Why don't you just be quiet for a minute and I'll explain it to you.
Hang on a minute, Paige. There's more to it than just that. A tangent depends on a curve, and so there's a presupposition that there's a curve. We don't have to involve ourselves with any tangents unless they can prove, first of all, that there's a curve.
Of course, we can prove there's a curve.
Yeah, okay.
We're not 2,000 years ago, you know.
Prove there's a curve.
2021.
Prove there's a curve before you use the word tangent.
I can easily prove there's a curve.
Yeah, he's going to say pictures from space.
Well, he just asked you to, yeah. Well, we want actual measurements.
Space.
No, not from space. From where you live. Prove that there is a curve, and then you can use the word tangent.
Yeah, don't show us your satellites falling through the clouds again.
Notice from the sea they went to space right away. Notice that?
We've got Prof. Phil on the ropes here. Prove first of all
is my title. Thank you.
Professor. Prove there is a curve before you can use the word tangent.
Okay, quite easily done. All right, so pay attention, please.
Listen.
What do you need to do?
Are you going to answer?
Let him go. Let him go.
Pay attention, please.
Okay.
Now, all you need to do is the people who live in the north, for instance, if you have a device like a sextant, you can measure the distance between the horizon and Polaris. And then
triangulation.
You can plot that.
Phil, your sextant also uses horizontal and vertical lines.
Why don't we give Mark and Professor Phil a chance to go back and forth? Let's see where Mark goes with this. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So what you're going to do is you're going to measure the distance between the horizon and Polaris. Then you're going to move further along and measure it again. And you keep doing this. And as you do this, you plot it on a chart. Now, when you look at your chart, you will notice that it has now created a circular function.
Professor, hang on.
No, hang on.
We haven't finished yet. I want to hear him.
He's produced a presumption. There's a presumption.
Just stop until I finish?
No, you've introduced a presumption.
What do you mean, no?
In your argument? You've introduced a presumption in your description, so I've got to hold you on that.
Just be quiet until I've finished, please, so other people can listen, not just you.
Why let you finish if there's a presumption? We need to go back a step and let you prove.
And your info is wrong as well.
Let you go forward. If you can't prove the presumption, there's no reason to let you continue talking.
Hey guys,
let him
like
finish.
I said before, can you let Mark and Professor Phil go back and forth, please? Let them work this out for a minute.
Professor, your assumption is that the horizon is dependable and that it's consistent. There is plenty of evidence to show that the horizon is not dependable.
I'm asking you to just listen for a minute.
No,
right?
I'm not going to listen to presuppositions. You've got to first of all.
You don't know what you're talking about. Just listen for a bit, and then criticize me after you.
No. I'm not going to let you go on to your next step of your argument until you
wanted me to explain to you how to find out whether the Earth is a curve. I'm doing that.
No, but you introduced a presupposition that the horizon is dependable. It's not a consistent.
Even if I were inaccurate, it would still be a circular function. Don't you get it?
You don't get it. The horizon is not.
I do get it.
The horizon is not a constant.
You don't even understand what I'm trying to tell you, do you?
And now you're getting personal.
I think what he was trying to say.
Hold on. No. Go ahead, Mark.
Listen, Professor, the horizon is not a constant. There's plenty of data to show that the horizon can be up or down or mirrored or a mirage. You cannot say that the horizon is a constant. And if you can't establish the horizon to be a constant, then your argument falls at that point.
It's perfectly understood that the horizon can vary. However, and that might introduce some errors, but that will not change the fact that it turns out to be a circular function. It certainly will not be flat.
If the foundation is on an error, then you cannot say fact above that. If there's an error, the fact, whatever comes beyond that error,
that is totally garbage.
It's an opinion, and it's based on a flaw, a flawed
You're committing
foundation.
a genetic fallacy. That's a genetic fallacy.
Yeah, there's plenty of opportunities for us to make measurements where we can't be completely accurate, but we certainly know we certainly have some very good estimations of it.
Estimation is not fact.
That happens all the time in life.
Oh dear. Estimation.
Oh dear, yes.
Yeah.
You can't know if the estimation is good if you don't know the actual answer yet.
If your foundation is based on an estimate or on something that is fluid and can change, then your argument is flawed.
No, it's not.
Can I ask Phil something when you're done?
Yeah, Paige. Yeah, but by all means. But we've got Professor on the ropes here.
So I couldn't get to finish what I was saying.
Because you're on the ropes. You are depending on a horizon that you've admitted.
Even for the sake
I think
of other
we've heard your
people,
criticism. I think we should
even
let
for
go.
the sake of other people, you're so damn selfish. You can't even let other people listen, can you?
Professor, you've now resorted
You're
to
so
personality.
damn selfish.
You've resorted to personality.
Calm down. Okay.
Hold on.
It's all right.
Hold on.
We've got him on the ropes here.
Why don't you just stop for a minute? And
We
listen
don't
so I
need
can
to have
explain
him
it to you?
on the ropes. Just
Hold on, Paige.
just calm things.
Paige, he's on the ropes. He depends on the horizon being a constant, and we
Of course
know
I
that.
do, and so do all the sailors who
You're going
ever
to scare him away.
Well, I personally would like to
Yeah,
hear
exactly.
everything Professor Phil had to say, because if what he's saying is not accurate, then that can be broken down. But I did want to hear his full thoughts. But that's just
same.
Thank you.
Well,
I
is
agree
the
with that,
conversation
yeah.
between him and the other guy, or is it not? If it is, then he decides whether or not he wants to listen to it. If it's not, then we can decide to listen to him or not.
Listen, we can give Professor the benefit of the doubt that the horizon is dependable and a constant. Go ahead.
Fine. Okay, so what you need to do is, and you don't have to do this with the Polaris. You can do this with any fixed object. So what you do is you measure the distance from Polaris to the horizon. You move further along, and you do it again, and you keep doing this. You can do this in the space of a few hours, if you like, or even in a short space of time.
Professor,
And
hang on. You've gone into
Wait.
another you've used another presupposition.
We haven't finished yet.
But he's using another presupposition that he knows the height of Polaris.
Yeah. Mark is scared to death of the truth. Let Phil finish.
No, he has assumed that he knows the height of Polaris.
I
Says
didn't
him
say
later.
that I need
He
to know
gave
the
him
height
the
of
first
Polaris.
presupposition. Now there's another. That's a problem.
Yep.
Now we're on two
I
Just
presuppositions.
let him
didn't
finish.
say that
He
you
also
need to
has
know the
another
height
problem
of
that
Polaris.
he's moving along a horizontal line.
Yeah.
Like as he
Yep.
moves along, he's assuming a horizontal plane.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. We've
another.
We've given him the benefit of the doubt that the horizon is a constant, but he's now assumed that Polaris has a specific distance. Where does he get that from?
Brandon, do we want to listen to what I'm going to say, or shall I just leave?
You can leave because you've got no foundation to your argument.
You have
that's
7
a
people
good
in here who
remark. I
want to
wanna
listen to Professor
Because you're
Phil.
too
Please
damn
let him finish.
scared that I'm going to tell you some truth.
Let's hear
There
what,
is
let's hear what he
reason,
has to say.
He
Go
can't
ahead.
say anything that's going to hurt. Okay.
Go ahead.
Right, then listen to what I have to say.
Go.
Okay, good.
No interruption. Please go on.
All right, great.
Just
Now,
let Phil finish his
As you
bullshit,
move
and then
forward-
we'll pick it to pieces after.
as you move forward, you can plot the distance versus the angular distance to Polaris. When you plot those two, you will find that you will have a circular function. This is impossible on a flat Earth. Now,
Professor
you can
Phil.
also do this on a static, in a static situation. If you go up to a turbine field where there's plenty of turbines out at sea, you can do exactly the same thing.
Red herring. Red herring. No,
You can
said
measure the you can measure the angular distance from
No,
the top of the
red
top
herring.
of the wind
Red herring.
turbines. Each
Red
of them,
herring. Professor
you can
Phil.
measure you can measure. Just be quiet.
No,
They're
I'm not going to be
physical.
quiet.
I don't have much to go. You can measure the top of each turbine to the
I'm not-
horizon.
I wasn't born
and
yesterday,
then
Professor Phil.
You
said.
can check that against the distance to the turbines. Now, when you do that and you plot them, that also will be a circular function, and that's also impossible if the Earth is flat.
Total red herring. You said you can plot the distance from Polaris. Give us that distance.
He didn't say that.
Distance that you see in your the distance that you see in your optical tool, of course.
The angle.
You said plot.
Exactly.
If
The
you plot
angular
something,
distance.
if you plot something, then how far away is Polaris from the horizon?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how
When
far
you
away.
see it in your and you see it in when you see the Polaris in your viewer and you see the horizon at the same time, that distance.
Just end this and say it's
Yeah,
triangulation.
it doesn't matter how
You need
far
a
away
horizontal
Polaris
plane.
is.
Finish.
Sextant uses horizontal and vertical.
If you want
What
the
do you think a
actual
sextant is
truth,
for,
then it does
Paige?
matter.
Paige, what is
Just wanna know-
what
They
is the
used it
purpose
for
of a sextant?
Phil, darling,
I
it's
just
all
want to know if
right.
you're
Calm
including
down.
diffraction and
They used it
refraction.
for
I'm calm, thank you.
navigation. You don't sound very
Paige,
calm,
answer
but
the
anyway,
question. What is
they
the
used. I
purpose
was
of a
trying
sextant?
to. It's for navigation, and it is a right angle, a 90-degree angle between horizontal and vertical, which are perpendicular, which also are parallel. All verticals and all horizontals will be parallel. So when you take those measurements with a sextant, you are assuming you are standing on a flat plane.
No, you're not.
Yes,
when
you do,
go
because it's a
forward,
horizontal
Paige,
line.
Paige,
It's not a
because
curved line on the
because you
bottom.
move-
That's a 90-degree angle.
Paige, because you move 69 degrees, 69 miles per degree. And when you plot
Yeah,
that,
and I can make that work on my model too,
No, you
Phil.
can't.
Yes,
No,
I can.
Yes.
Phil,
It can only
do you
work
need
on a
do
flat.
you
you
need Phil, do you
can.
need a Phil, do you need a physical horizon for Earth to be a sphere?
Oh,
We
man.
already went through. We
every
just
sphere
talked
is
about
going
that.
to have a physical horizon, of course. Where you
Do,
see the horizon will
do you
change.
need a physical? Hold on, Phil. Do you need a physical horizon for Earth to be a sphere?
Of course.
Okay.
And is this
Okay,
physical?
well, hopefully at least some people got that.
Is this physical curve a set radius?
Hey Phil, can I ask you a question? When you're presupposing where up is right, do you include diffraction and refraction in a location of the temperature gradient?
When a sailor uses a sextant, they're mindful of the conditions that they're using it under.
Yeah, they never use it below like 15 or 20 degrees above the horizon because it's
Why
too
would that be?
thin
Paige?
atmosphere. Because of all the distortion and stuff.
Exactly.
You're saying they got built-in
Yeah,
refractive
so why
meters
do you
in
think
their-
we're telling people they can't take these long-distance measurements like Ruhiff and Ranty and Katz and try and do measurements on it? Because
Well, maybe
everything's
they pick a nice
distorted.
day, Paige. Maybe they
Well,
pick a day when there's not
Phil,
much.
there is never
No refraction.
no distortion or no refraction.
Phil,
That's
can I?
why.
Phil, one question for you. Can you have equal points of elevation to create a horizontal line on an extended plane?
Hello, Phil? Can answer.
Repeat that question again.
Did we lose him?
Can you have equal points of elevation to create a horizontal line on an extended plane?
Not on a flat Earth. There's no such thing.
Okay, focus on the question. Can you have equal points of elevation to create a horizontal line on an extended plane?
If the surface was flat, of course.
So
But
the
it's
answer is
not.
yes if the Earth is flat. What if the Earth is an extended plane?
What does extended plane mean if it doesn't mean flat?
You're on the ropes again.
It's just a simple question. Can you have equal points of elevation
heard
create a
your
horizontal? Okay, so it's a yes or a no. That's it.
I said,
Is the
if it's flat,
surface of
yes.
Earth three-dimensional?
I just want to
I
know
said
how
that
you.
if it's flat, you can. But it's not
Yes, he
flat.
said
So
yes.
yes, you can.
Welcome to Flat Earth, Phil. Thank you.
Phil, you said something about identifying
your
a
dreams.
mathematical relationship between your location and how high above the horizon Polaris appears to be, or at what angle. And you
Yes,
said
so
that provides some kind of evidence as to what the shape of the ground is.
yes.
Can you expand on that a little bit, because that doesn't make much sense to me.
All right. I was trying to do that before. Thank you for asking me.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what I was trying to tell you that the angular distance between the horizon and Polaris, or any fixed object, if you can rely on that fixed object, and you can rely on Polaris, that angular distance versus the actual distance that you travel along, let's say you're traveling north, when you plot that when you plot the distance versus the angular distance to the object, you'll find that it turns out to be a circular function. That would be impossible if the surface was flat.
You keep saying that
If
last
it-
part,
if-
that
if
that
the
would be
surface was
impossible
flat,
if the
it would be-
surface were flat.
if
Why
it-
do you say that?
If the surface was flat, it would be linear.
Why do you say that it would be linear?
Have a go and try it out and see you'll see it for yourself.
Try it
What
out.
does he
So
presuppose about
I
the
could go out
sky?
and measure the actual distance to Polaris and the actual angle from my position, and then what? How would I do that? How would I validate your assumption?
Yeah, your position
Just
to
imagine
Polaris.
you're in a boat.
Uh-huh.
And you're looking across, you see the horizon. You measure the angular distance.
Okay.
Okay. This pretty much gives you your latitude, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I've got some kind of relationship between my
degree will
distance
change
and
if
the
you move 60 miles.
angle of Polaris. So what?
If you keep moving in a northerly direction, you'll find that, and you plot those distances, you'll find that it will create a circular function.
But Brandon, just to clarify,
Hold on.
Your observation to Polaris is the hypotenuse. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, that would be the hypotenuse. Yep.
Yeah, and we need to know the length of the hypotenuse, don't we?
Well, I think it's
If you
even
like,
more than
Brendan,
that. So
I'll
he's
do
saying
your
if
diagram,
I move
okay?
10 degrees, Polaris drops or raises 10 degrees. So you've got this mathematical relationship, this cause and effect that you've identified. Now he's saying the reason that you have that mathematical relationship is because the ground you're on is curved. But maybe that's just the mathematical relationship that you would expect on a flat Earth, which you keep saying is impossible. But I
You
don't
wouldn't
understand why you
expect it
keep
on
saying
a
that's
flat Earth.
impossible.
Yes, you would.
No, you would not, and I can prove
Have
it to
you? Well, what have you done to the sky, Phil? Are you using your sky to measure over a flat Earth? Because if you are, that's not very fair.
Well, hold on.
may I ask
So
a
what do you mean you can prove it? How can you prove that?
I can show you mathematically how that would work.
Mathematically. Okay, because we're talking about visual optical observations, right?
You can transfer that to mathematics.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we're realists here. Sorry.
What about the mathematical definition for horizontal, Phil? Do you know what that is?
You think I don't know what horizontal means?
No, I said, do you know the mathematical definition? Do you know what they say that is?
Yeah, go ahead, Paige. What is your mathematical
Parallel to the plane of the horizon. Horizontal is parallel to the plane of the horizon.
So, Paige, the horizon, of course, is going to be horizontal. Why wouldn't it be?
Because we live in a
I
What
would
do you
never expect it not to be. But on your model,
Do you
it
know?
must
No.
curve.
Yes. No, Paige. Paige.
And you're crazy.
You just hang on,
rewind
Phil.
to
You
the-
just told me before that straight line wasn't straight because it was always curving.
Paige, listen to me for a minute and think.
I have been listening.
All right. Now, if you're out in a boat, Paige, isn't the horizon going to be the same distance from you wherever you look?
Not necessarily.
If
You
you
might
turn
have
around
fog
and
on
look
one
around
side
you-
and
No, if you
No,
turn
it won't
around,
necessarily.
Paige, the horizon will be the same distance from you.
not necessarily. No,
Yes,
depends on the
necessarily,
weather.
Paige.
It depends. No.
Assuming
What if there's a whole bank of fog coming across the ocean on your left hand side, but nothing on the right hand side?
Paige, well said.
Well said, Paige.
Let's assume that there is a uniform atmosphere around him. Carry
Right.
on.
Yeah. Okay.
Now,
Yeah. All right.
so
Assume that.
Paige,
Yep.
Okay, good. Paige, it's just a clear day. You're in a boat. You look all around you. The horizon will be the same distance from you wherever you look. That means it must be. That means it must be horizontal. Okay.
It
It's
isn't
as simple as
horizontal.
that.
Yeah.
The horizon is not horizontal.
That doesn't mean that the Earth
But
is flat.
Phil,
The professor doesn't
on
even know what he's
your
talking about.
model,
Are you a
on
flat
your
earther?
model, it needs to be curved.
No.
Phil, are you a flat earther?
The horizon is not horizontal.
Rumpus.
It is.
No, it is
Horizontal
not.
is defined as parallel to the plane
No,
of the
it's not.
horizon.
No, it's not.
It
That's
is.
something that, no, that Bev made that up.
Oh my God.
Horizontal is defined as being 90 degrees to the vertical at any point on the Earth. That's got nothing to do with the horizon at all. The horizon is not nothing to do with horizontal. It may be the etymological
Oh, here we
source
go.
of
He's just gonna
Horizon has
but
nothing
it
to do
has
with
nothing
horizontal.
to do with horizontal.
Rumpus, is there any parallel lines on your ball?
Hang on,
Rumpus,
folks.
why are you arguing with the professor?
No,
He
they don't
just told
have
us the
any.
horizon is horizontal.
Why
are
does he
you
always
arguing
use
with-
orthographic then?
Hang
Am I
on,
coming
folks.
through?
No.
Because he's an idiot.
We had a conversation going on between the professor and the lady from down
Paige.
Paige.
Paige
Rumpus,
is doing just fine.
Rumpus, just hang on and let that conversation carry on.
From wherever you are in the boat, the horizon will be the same distance. Okay. Think about that. What that means, Paige.
Yeah, it means that it's horizontal in a 360-degree turn with no curve. So I can literally draw.
It doesn't.
I can hold a
mean that-
pencil out in front of me and draw a line as I turn around, and that line will be a flat circle. Flat.
Paige, get him to
Horizontal.
say Paige, get him to
Paige.
say the horizon's horizontal.
Everywhere from away from you, the Earth will dip down. Okay. Everywhere.
It's not okay.
In every
No.
direction.
Then that horizon wouldn't be
That's the
horizontal.
measurement they need to prove.
Yeah.
Just imagine you have an orange or something round, and you
No.
just take a slice off the top.
No. You've assumed that
Phil,
an
you
orange-
can't take a slice off the top of your ball. Yes, I
You just don't
understand that you
understand what I'm
need to
trying to tell
flatten.
you, do you?
Yeah, no, I do, Phil. You need to chop the
No,
top
you're
off
not.
your
You're just
ball
really
because you
simple.
need to do the geometry on a 2D circle. You need to be able to do, X, Y, Z coordinates on a flat plane. So you chop the top off your circle, use that flat plane. But even if you think about that, the horizon on that orange is still flat. It might go in a circle around you, but it's still flat. You've chopped the curve off it. So this is what we're saying. You've never actually shown us the curve. You're only measuring things on a circular flat plane.
Professor Phil, I've got a quick thing to think about. You say the horizon is horizontal, but if you imagine you raised up, say, the radius of the Earth, you can clearly see the curve, and it's just an even linear function of your height. So immediately you're not at zero height. The horizontal.
Why are you trying to tell the professor this
the
guy works
horizon
for
is not
satellites?
horizontal?
Yes, it is. The professor
it's
just
not.
told you. Who are you to argue
No, it's
with
not.
the professor?
If you take a picture of it, you can see. If you make like a high resolution picture, you can actually see the curve, as Rory has done from the Balearic Islands, as you can do. And we know that if you go up higher, it becomes more curved. It's
They're
not-
still hawking that picture with the red pieces of steel. I can't believe you guys
Yeah,
are still out there talking about those
Professor
pictures.
Phil, if one of your
How
students
can you not
told you that,
understand
what
they're
would you
valid?
tell
I mean,
them?
it's just ridiculous.
No,
Professor,
your
if one of your
argument
students
in
told you
regards to
the
those
horizon
pictures is
wasn't horizontal,
ridiculous.
what would you answer them?
Oh my
Professor?
God! They
Are
got
they
a
still-
horizontal
Are they still
bar in
trying to
there,
use that
and
picture?
the horizon behaves
Rumpus,
like a
let the
curve,
professor
even
answer.
though
Are
the
you scared?
horizontal bars are
Are
not
you
curved.
scared,
How
Rumpus?
can you not understand that shows the horizon
Go
is
ahead,
curved,
Professor
you
Phil.
idiot?
We won't let him draw us off with this bullshit here. Go ahead.
It's total bullshit.
Oh my God, you're geometrically ignorant.
Brandon, what picture are you talking about? Are you talking about Blackpool?
No.
Waiting for
No,
Professor.
Rory.
This bullshit ass picture they got with a red and black piece of wood where they're supposed to be showing Earth curve, but it's humping different on either side. Also, the pieces in the straight wood are curving.
No, they're not.
And the table
Only in some of
slanted
them.
Yeah, they are.
and curved.
Where's
No,
this at?
Only
They
some
are.
of
Do you
them.
have
But
it?
the
Is it
point
got
is they're
fucking-
straight and they're a different shape to
No,
the
but
horizon.
he's taking
Therefore,
us
one
off
of them's
course. It
curved,
doesn't
you
matter
moron.
what picture he's talking about. Professor Phil, go ahead and answer the question.
Phil, come on.
Professor, you there?
Tell us how the horizon's horizontal again, please.
Oh, I think he got cranky
It's
about
not
me
like
saying
you're
he's only got a
traveling
flat
on the line.
plane.
He doesn't want to.
He realised when he said chop the top off that orange. Yeah, he realised when he said chop the top off that orange, he's realised that, oh, hang on a second, I've just given her a flat plane to do her geometry on. Whoops.
Paige,
Paige,
when I asked him if a student came up to you and told you, Professor, the horizon isn't horizontal, what would you tell that student? He ran away.
Yeah. I
Paige,
mean, we've literally got Professor Phil and Rumpus telling us the opposite things.
Paige,
So,
Paige, he was on the ropes and you gave him a left hook and he's now down for the count.
You got him, Paige. That was good work.
yeah.
Well done.
Is he
Thanks,
still
guys.
there or?
Teamwork.
I mean, he
Rumpus.
knows he fucked up when he said
Yeah, he's
horizontal,
still there, I think.
horizontal, because on their ball you couldn't have a horizontal horizon.
Okay.
these rage muses.
It's a simple geometric
just don't
fact
want him
that
getting
on a
too
sphere,
upset,
the
you know.
horizon will not be horizontal. It's very simple, and
It's
we've got
horizontal.
photographic,
The professor
and
just
we
told
can
us.
got
And yes, it
photographic
is.
evidence for it.
We
So
even
it's
have a
very simple.
professor. We have a
Rumpus,
professor
So why
Rumpus.
telling
isn't
us
the
that,
professor
Rumpus.
backing you up on that, Rumpus?
Rumpus,
Yeah.
Ask
can I,
yourself that.
Rumpus, I have a question for
will
you.
be discussing it
I have a
with
question for you,
Hold on.
Rumpus.
Hold on,
Hold
I'll
on,
be
dude.
discussing it with Professor Phil later, and I'm sure we'll come to an agreement.
Oh,
I'm
should.
sure.
Rumpus.
I'm
Little
sure.
pillow talk.
Rumpus,
That's called
Professor Phil.
That's called
Professor
collusion.
Phil Professor Phil already answered this question. I'll see if your answer is equal to his. Can you have equal points of elevation to create a horizontal line in an extended plane?
On an extended plane, I mean, if you're on a plane and you have each point is if you have points of constant elevation on a plane, then they will be horizontal. Yes.
Okay,
So
we're
you
back
can
again.
have a horizontal line over an extended plane based on equal elevation points, right?
Of course, if you have a plane,
Okay.
flat surface, and you have a series of sticks, all at say 6 feet high, they will form a horizontal line that is parallel to the plane, and they will be horizontal. It's very
Of course.
Awesome, thank you.
So they're filling an agreement. There you go. So I don't know what you think you got out of him because he clearly thinks he agrees with my answer.
Rumpus, those 6 foot tall sticks, imagine they're all lined up like 1,000 of them down the beach, all 6 foot tall, and you're standing at the first one looking down the row.
Yep.
Do they all look the same height still?
Well, it depends on my eye level is. I mean, if you're talking about perspective, you're talking about the perspective effect. If my eye is 6 foot high, they will all look in a straight line. But obviously, they will, if I'm, say, 3 feet high, looking from a 3 feet position, they will seem to come from above me and gradually come to a vanishing point at my eye level.
What about with
Naturally.
the light in the atmosphere? Would they still look straight? You guys want to straw man us with perspective all day, acting like that's the only thing happening out there.
So what? Sorry, I didn't quite catch the question there, Jeremy. It's about refraction. You're saying with refraction effects, it will change it will affect the positions slightly. Yes. So it will look.
So you understand over an extended plane, things that are the same height will appear to change in the distance, drop or lower or distort or whatever.
Perspective, yeah.
He's got a famous diagram that shows that. Why don't you bring that diagram up, Rumpus?
Sorry, I didn't hear
Why
that.
don't you bring that diagram up and show us how things can raise or lower depending on what kind of refraction there is? I think that'd be helpful.
With no assumptions.
Yeah, didn't you have like a floaty lighthouse
Yes. I can
Picture?
do that if you like.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, all right. I can comply with that. No problem. Give me a moment.
Have a look at the picture that I put in general, and you'll see how you can have how that can be. Have a look at
the
picture.
horizontal horizon.
Yep. This is.
Oh,
is this...
I believe you. No, I'm with you. The horizon's definitely horizontal.
Have a look. It looks horizontal.
Absolutely, yeah. The horizon is geometric and horizontal.
Did you
We've
hear
got
that,
some
Rumpus?
credentials now.
Did you catch that?
You're the same distance wherever you look.
Phil and I will have a discussion about this, and
yes, I'm sure he'll take you with a ruler and whip you properly.
He's going to spank your bottom.
I don't think Phil has done quite as much as I have done on geometry and perspective. I've done perspective calculations and software that does
He's a
this. So I know
professor that fucks with satellites.
Are you
bro.
questioning
Who are
a
you?
professor?
Who the fuck are you?
Rumpus?
I'm the person telling you how reality is, and I'm always right. Simple as
He's a
Oh, the irony.
always right.
Professor Phil teaches other people, Rumpus. Like,
But y'all are questioning Professor
he's
Phil
a very
too.
intelligent man. I wouldn't be going putting him down if I was you.
I'm not putting Professor Phil
Well,
down
he's
at all.
not doing that at all.
This isn't the one I was thinking
Okay.
of, but the one I was thinking of showed the different percentages, the different angles that light could refract, and how that could impact where you see it. I guess this is similar, but
Where it appears to be.
So, Paige, as you,
Oh, there you go.
as you get higher and higher,
or are you
Paige?
talking about this? How it would check what the viewer will see? Are you interested in perspective?
yeah, I'm
view
interested in
from
what the viewer
observer's-
will see because of this refraction, how that could impact
Okay,
it.
I've got a little bit more detailed later on.
There
I
it
mean,
is,
these
right
are the,
there.
These are the.
That's what I'm
Oh,
talking.
okay. You want these?
Yeah.
That's what you want. These are the sorts of right. This is what light will do under different conditions. The standard refraction is this red line. That's what light will normally do. And if it's no refraction at all, it's this pink line 0. This is called the K number. The refractive. What's it? No, I forgot what the bloody name of that K number is
Coefficient?
now. Yes, could be the refraction coefficient. No, it's the curvature coefficient. That's it. So it goes from 0, where it's no curvature at all, and down to 1, where it's curving with the same curvature of the Earth. So this is the condition where you have no horizon and you can see all the way around the Earth in theory, although obviously you can't in practice because of attenuation, zoom, mountains and things. But in theory, if the ray of light was following the curvature of the Earth, you would be able to see all the way around the Earth. But obviously
There are no rays of light. Clearly, you haven't been up.
And things get too small
Rays of light are
to see.
conceptual things that don't
that's
exist.
just a convenient. The rays of light thing is.
It looks
it's just a
like,
convenient.
based on your diagram, that things can either raise, things in the distance can either raise or lower relative to their
correct.
actual position in relation
That
to
is
you.
correct.
Huh.
That's correct.
So we can't really
But-
rely on what we see in the distance, can we, unless we know exactly what's happening to that light along the path.
Exactly.
That is true. Yes, that is very true, Brandon.
Okay.
That's why something like the Black Swan.
Somebody
where
needs to tell Ranty
The
that.
Black Swan, Black Swan, and other optical observations, I would say, are very, very. I wouldn't base my opinion of the shape of the Earth on an optical observation such as that, because of that reason, because of this diagram that you've shown us.
Well, the something like the Black Swan, the red line that I've got here is the typical conditions you will find normally in the atmosphere due to density. Obviously, if you get things like mirages, for instance, that implies the world's upside down. And the Black Swan actually suggests a convex Earth, not even flat. It's actually convex because it's actually one of these lines I've got here. The 2 line you can see here, this line here is actually more akin to what the Black Swan is doing, and that makes things so raised up. It actually makes the Earth look as though it's curved up in a convex shape rather than being concave. So yes, if you are in strange conditions, particularly if you get low down like the Black Swan did of a few feet above the surface of the Earth, that's when you're going to get amongst all these refraction mess. If you do what Al Bruni did and get up a nice tall mountain, then you don't get any of this crap. And you get a nice standard refraction.
So say if I'm maybe 6 feet off the surface, looking over the ocean, say about I don't know, 50 miles, probably going to have quite a bit of refractive effects. Even if I see like the shoreline 50 miles away, that could be due to refractive effects, right?
Correct.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I shouldn't rely on an observation like that. I gotcha.
Indeed.
If you want to be accurate, go high up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It could. I mean, it could vary. If you're 6 feet high, you could have any one of those shapes of curves. And the ones that are above the yellow ones are very unusual. That's the sinking ones. Those are very unusual to have. And actually, there's a practical limit. You can't go more than a few degrees up. The ones you can do is where it gets denser towards the ground, and you get these 16, 4, and 2 of the curvature coefficient. That's more possible. The actual sinking options are much less possible. And in fact, George was telling me just today, over 123 days of observing his lake, he's never seen sinking once, but he's seen the equivalent of these curvature rays of K of 1 and 2 on a few occasions. But most of the time, it sticks around the red line. And that's, of course, why surveyors use the 7/6R, because normally, if there's nothing unusual going on, then you're going to get the red line. And that's why surveyors say, right, we'll assume by default we've got the red sort of curvature. That's what we're going to be basing our stuff on.
What would I need to know if I had, say, a 60-kilometer observation and I wanted to determine what kind of effects the light, refraction was having on what I was observing? What measurements or what information, data would I need in order to have reliability in what I'm seeing?
What's going on. That's a very good
Temperature.
question. That's indeed. It's not just the temperature, but the temperature gradient. So what you would need to do, you would need to end up with a graph like this. You would then go away and measure it, and you can do this. I mean, I did this for the Anthony Riley observation. We got 3. You need the vertical temperature gradient. So you're not normally the optical corridor, i.e., the horizontal gradient, doesn't change very much, but normally, what you do need is a graph like this, which I've got. Excuse me if I'm just getting nearly there. There we go. You need a temperature gradient, as Professor Phil said there. You need to know what the temperature is doing up to about 30 meters, because normally all the action occurs below 10 meters. So if you know, and that's why going up high avoids all these problems. It's normally only below 10 meters that all this strange stuff occurs. And so this is the temperature profile for Anthony Riley's observation, which didn't have go shore to shore. But this is a typical sort of situation you might have, which includes an inferior mirage, actually, because it sort of slopes towards the bottom. You actually get this effect here on the right-hand side, because that's the temperature gradient, and that gives you a density gradient like this, which then gives you what the K value I was showing you that looks like this at these different heights, and it goes absolutely bonkers. So,
Rumpus, do you know
let's
if
say I
anybody's
have
done that
something in
for,
between
like, the time
myself
lapse?
and the thing that's 50 miles away. I'm probably going to need measurements at my location, at the location of the thing in between me and the distant object, and at the distant object, or how many measurements am I
you don't
going to
normally
need?
need to do that. And indeed, George has done measurements of this along his observations. He's checked the optical corridor, and that's what I'm going to be checking when I do my drop test at the Bedford levels in a few months' time. I'm going to set up a series of poles of thermistors, so I'm going to be able to generate a graph just like this blue one here you can see.
Oh, Rumpus, get a time lapse.
How
so that you can do the temperature thing on a time lapse.
How many different points along that 50 miles? Hey, hold on, Paige.
Paige, I'll be taking pictures all the time, so indeed we can do that.
Okay.
Go ahead, Brendan.
Cool.
How many different points along that 50-mile observation would I need to take measurements at? Like if I was going to set up a pole every so often, or
you really only need the start and end. I mean, this is what surveyors have found over the last centuries, that the optical corridor is usually the same from one end to the other. I mean, obviously, if you're starting to get more than about 20 miles is probably, you're going to start to think, well, I should really have it a bit more than that. You should have some more. But if you had one every 20 miles, I would say you're basically onto a winner.
Oh, okay, 20 miles. So if the thing in between me is like 20 miles away, and then the other thing is 30 miles beyond that, I would definitely want to have one at each of those points at a minimum.
Yeah, but you'd still probably have something close. The key thing you need to know is the vertical temperature gradient. So you need 3. What you do need is at least 3 samples. You say here, for instance, this graph here, you want one, say, about 15 meters or 10 meters, say, 5 meters, and 0 meter, and about just a few, perhaps 1 meter. 1 meter, 5 meters, and 10 meters would give you the shape of this graph that you need to know. This is the important graph, the vertical temperature gradient. The one long horizontally doesn't really change very much. And okay, if you're going over more than 20 miles, even if you had one, it's not liable to go bonkers over 30. It's going to be similar.
This is all
Hundreds of years of surveyors' tests have shown this to be the case, and they've tested this by doing the sorts of thing I'm talking about, and having reciprocal refraction tests to see what the refraction levels are in between, and they find that these optical corridors horizontally don't change very much usually, unless you've got some, if you go from water to land to water or something, you can sometimes have some variations.
Yeah, that's what my water. Yeah, so if I was going from land to water, over water to land, to over water to land, there could be some significant change. What if I was going from, say, if there was a significant temperature difference, like 15 or 20 degrees warmer where I'm at, as opposed to where I'm viewing?
Well, that would be huge. I mean, that would, if you had 15, 20 degrees difference between these positions, then yes, you're very likely to get. I mean, the key thing again is what's doing the vertical temperature gradient. That's
It's the temperature gradient at the near the surface is what you got to be concerned about.
Exactly.
What
As I
are you
said, 10
looking
meters and below.
Brandon, you're smooth.
I see.
So 10 meters and below. And then the question is, now for instance, I've got in this temperature gradient, we get this effect. I've got it so for instance, at 10 meters, it's 8.2 degrees. And down at 0 degrees, it's gone up by 0.2 of a degree. And then that gives you, this condition here gives you inferior mirages. And the effect we had, gives you this effect.
Bottom line is, can I jump in for a second?
What effect was that? It gives you what effect? Hold on.
Inferior mirages. Right. So that effect there, that speedy change of gradient there gives you inferior mirage. So for instance, on this picture of the Isle of Man that Anthony Riley took, you can see there's an inferior mirage underneath the island here and here. And so that change in gradient you can see there gives you an inferior mirage effect. And if you have this graph later on, which I can show you here, then you get a much more dramatic effect. This graph I've got just later on will give you the shore to shore. Here we go. This will give you the shore to shore observation that sorry if I can, hold on, I need to go a bit further. Here we go. This one, nearly there. Here we go. This one here, this temperature gradient, where this is the black swan type temperature gradient, where you have very cold water or something, and you have warm air, and you get a temperature gradient like this. And this goes over about 4 or 5 degrees, you can see. So that's quite a lot more than the previous one. You get a 5-degree change, and then that will give you this particular temperature gradient profile will give you a black swan type look, and because this is what happens to the density, and this then gives you this, which is a completely different shape as you saw before between the height and the K value.
Would the opposite give me a sinking effect, or
no?
So since that gives me a black swan.
That gives you a black swan. That one will give you a black swan.
Okay.
In other words, it makes the curvature. That gives you circular rays. It's the rays that hug the curvature of the Earth to do that, which is quite different to the one I was showing you above, where it goes the other way. If you remember the other curve, let me just go back to the other one. Trying to remember what the other that looks like, that curve there. And if we go back up to the one I was just showing you, nearly there.
Sure.
Nearly there.
Wow, you put a lot of work into this.
There we go. So remember, so in other words, it curves the other way. One has a sort of vertical bit coming down and it goes to the right. In other words, the temperature goes up. But if it's going to do a black swan, the temperature has to go down. So if you have cold water, then it's going to bend the other way. So if you have a warmish air going over cold water, then the curve will go to the left. If you've got a hot sun and you've got say a road, then the temperature will go up rapidly and you get this shape, which gives you inferior mirages. So it depends on whether the curve goes left or right, gives you whether or not you're going to get a black swan or inferior mirages.
What conditions, what temperature conditions would give you the sinking effect?
I haven't actually done that one. I'd have to think about that. I'd have to think about, yes, I just need to calmly think about that for a few minutes to give you, but yes, I haven't actually put that in here as an example. It's so rare. And Andrew Young does actually cover the temperature gradient on his website, and I can't remember what it exactly. I think it basically, you'd have the opposite effect. You'd have to get sinking. You'd have
the opposite to the black swan.
Yes, I think.
Which would be,
I'm pretty sure it is.
Remind me,
it would,
hot looking to cold, cold looking to hot, or I think I
You have to. I'll have to come back to you on
Okay.
that one.
All right.
To be absolutely sure. I don't want to tell you something. I think I could give you something. I'm 75% sure, but I like to give you stuff that I'm absolutely sure about, and I'll have to check on that. These things are quite complicated, and it's very easy to think you remember what's right. And I haven't looked at that particular thing for a long time. And I don't want to give you something that's bollocks.
No, I'd be interested in hearing a good answer.
Okay,
So
tomorrow
no problem.
Tomorrow I could give you the temperature gradient if you like.
Okay,
Yeah,
that'd be fantastic. Thank you, Rumpus. Appreciate that.
Yeah, Brandon, if you're looking at something that over a hot tarmac on a sunny day, you're going to get quite a difference from something that you're observing over a cold water on the same day.
And that's what the temperature profile indicates. This is over a hot. So in other words, you can see here as it goes down. This is height on the left hand side and temperature on the right hand side. And as you can see, towards the bottom, suddenly the temperature goes up by the gradient of the temperature changes quite rapidly, and it increases rapidly as it gets very near the surface. And this is what gives you the inferior mirage, and this is what gives you over here the density gradient changing. In other words, the air is expanded near the ground because it's so hot, and because it's expanded, it's less dense, and because it's less dense, the K factor goes very small. And in other words, it's in negative, so it gives you a negative. In other words, those curves that I was showing you up here start going up instead of down, which is effectively the sinking effect. Actually, that is effectively the sinking effect. Actually,
Rumpus, can we
hold on, Data. That is the sinking effect then.
Effect. Let me just think. I think that's equivalent. Yes, because that then means. Yes, that is. Yes, that's right. That is effectively right. Okay, that is effective. The period, the part of that, this part here, where it's going very rapidly up, and in comparison to the distance down, that effectively is giving you because that's what an inferior mirage is. It's actually pulling stuff down that is up. So that part of this part of this particular curve, this is effectively a sinking section of it. I think
it's the opposite in grade to the black swan. Okay.
Yeah.
Rumpus, if we were observing a lighthouse over water for 30 miles and then compared the same lighthouse over tarmac over 30 miles, would we get two different observations?
Well, it depends on the weather condition. It depends on this. Everything is just dependent on this temperature gradient. You can get it in several ways. If you have warm air, the way to think about it is: do you have warm air? These black swan occurs when you've got cold water and warm air, and then and then therefore that normally in the atmosphere, it's warmest at the bottom. Following the normal.
Yeah.
Because but something like in the black swan environment, because you've got cold water, it hasn't been heated up, and you come over with some warm air, and then you get the shape that I showed you, where it curved to the left, and then you get a black swan.
I'm going to give you
the road will do exactly the opposite.
I'm going to give you an assumption here, Rumpus. The water is 4 degrees centigrade,
right?
And we're looking at a lighthouse, and then we're going to change the water to.
Well, hold on. The two things that matter are what's the water doing on the air very close to the water? Is that cold? And is the air above it, is it more cold than it normally is?
No. Okay.
Or is the air above it warmer than it normally is, or colder than it normally is? Those are the things we need to consider.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You just need to give me what this curve is doing on the temperature gradient here.
Okay.
It depends on the shape of that.
Okay. So just work with me here. The air temperature and the water temperature is 4 degrees centigrade. And we're looking over 30 miles at a lighthouse. And then 6 months later, we now have a summer day, and the water is maybe 10 degrees centigrade. But we're now looking across a tarmac, and the tarmac is pretty much roasting because it's
that's what this one on the left is. This is what we're looking at here, because this means that the tarmac's getting very much warmer much more quickly as it goes down to this is the situation here. This is the tarmac situation, effectively giving you an inferior mirage. That's, in other words, it's heating up very rapidly towards the surface. So that's your tarmac situation.
Okay. That's great. I'm sort of leading you down a question here that maybe I'm trying to set you up.
Yeah, okay. Don't worry. No, I can handle being set up in any way because I'm always right.
Set it up, Mark. Set it up.
I'm always right, so I don't have a problem.
Oh my God, will you stop?
Can we trust an image that is 30 miles away ever?
Well, if you're doing it from nice and high up, like Al Bruni did, then you know that the refraction is liable to be standard. But if you want to know for sure, then you need to take a temperature profile like this, and I'm going to be doing in my experiment. You need to know what it's doing here. If you know what it's doing here, then you can say, well, this is the physics is going to say it's going to refract like X. If you know it's going to refract like X, you can then compensate for what you're seeing. So, for instance, if you see an inferior mirage, you know that's not what's really going on in life. But if you've got this temperature profile, you can say, well, I can unpick what the inferior mirage is doing, and I can say then eliminate what the refraction is doing, compensate for it, and get back to what's really going on.
Let me just get one.
Hang on, folks.
All right.
You use the reference there, or the term there, unpick. Does that sort of equate with a confirmation bias that we really want to see what we already believe?
No, we know what refraction does. We know the physics. We know that these equations, we know if we have a temperature profile like this, we get a density profile like this, and we get refraction like this. It's in physics. You can do this in a lab. And
Hang on.
So you know what's going to happen. If you know the temperature profile, you know what the physics will say will happen to the curvature of the light rays.
Okay, so everybody that's gone ahead and taken a photograph of a long distance object of 30 miles away, they've ignored the atmospheric conditions and the temperature.
They've just taken a picture, presumably, but they haven't got the equipment to find out what the temperature profile is.
But they've cherry picked it just to suit their opinion.
Well,
you mean like the Black Swan?
Yeah, the Black Swan, the classic cherry picking.
Anybody who has gone along to take a long distance photograph to confirm what they already believe.
Well, normally, as I said up here, the normal conditions, particularly if you go up higher, remember this is all about being low or high. You're going to be able to pick this. Normally, you're going to get the red line.
Okay.
Standard refraction, which just means it's going to be bent slightly to the ground. So if you, that's what surveyors use. You see, surveyors have to do optical measurements, so they have to get this right.
I hear what you're saying. If anybody goes out with a P900 with a tripod that only extends to 5 foot, that conclusion or that photograph or the interpretation of the photograph is unsafe because they're so low down.
Right. Well, it can be, but typically on a typical day, it will not be a problem.
It'll be minimal.
Yeah. Normally, it'll be this red one. It'll be standard refraction. But if you've got unusual conditions, if you've got a cold water or ice, and you've got a warm front coming in over some cold water, or you've got super hot water with a cold current coming in, then you're going to have problems.
Yeah,
or it's in the morning or the evening. Typically, the evening is probably.
I have a couple of questions when we get a break.
Good. Okay. Just let me hang on to Rumpus here. So when Soundly took photographs of that bridge, he was no more than 10, 15 foot above the surface of the water, and then another.
I think he took some from a hotel of about several tens of feet up, didn't he? One of those shots he took was from a hotel, so he was well above the silly zone.
Okay, so he was on the 10th floor, and
that's more than enough. That's more than enough to get away. So all the action happens at about 20 meters and down, 10 meters and down, really.
Okay, and another flat earther went to the same room and took the same photograph, but this time it demonstrates flat. Can we really depend on anything that close to the ground? It's all about an interpretation.
Well, as you said, Soundly's shots were taken several tens of meters up, so his shots were valid, and you won't get this sort of wacky effects.
Okay, so you've taken that position because it supports your belief.
Science. Because of the science. Because of the science. The science says that's what happens. The science has told us what temperature gradients exist. The science tells us what the refraction will be. And the science says if you're above about 10 meters, everything will be fine.
Rumpus, prepare yourself for a shock. A flat earther goes to the same room and takes the same photograph and demonstrates flat because of the atmospheric conditions.
Don't believe it. If it's 10 meters up, it will not happen.
Curvature Travis showed
tens of meters.
Curvature in his.
Okay, Rumpus, what you've demonstrated there is a confirmation bias that you would expect it to support what you already believe.
Well, it's scientific fact, like saying I believe in 1 + 1 = 2, or the gravitation. I mean, these things have been established and checked by hundreds of years.
Yeah, but going into a 10th floor of a particular hotel is not tens of thousands of years.
No, I never said it was.
But that,
if
that
you've
was your
got a
argument.
picture from a hotel of 10th story and they're coming up with flat, I'm afraid I don't believe it.
Okay, Rumpus soundly has demonstrated that image. Now, has anybody gone to the same room over the next year in every particular month and changes of seasons to show that anything other than what he captured?
I don't know.
Okay. So we're all cherry picking what we want to see on the horizon.
One is established science, the others are just made up anecdotes.
The body of science compels you.
Rumpus, what causes you say sinking is rare, but it is an option, right? It is something that occurs, correct?
It's incredibly rare, and it's also difficult to get it to do more than. I mean, you can get right down on the ground. You get inferior mirages are effectively a sort of sinking.
Okay, I don't want to stick on this too long, but is looming rare?
No, well, this is what if you decide to call what Andrew Young has done. So looming is something more than stand refraction. I used to call, but was told off by Andrew Young. I was thinking anything that was more than zero refraction was looming, but he didn't like me doing that because we need a new name for the. In other words, if it's between, as you can see on this graph here, if it's between
stop
zero,
for a second.
Stop. No, hold on, 5 seconds.
Is
5 seconds.
looming rare? We just want to know if it's rare or not. You automatically said that sinking is rare. Can you answer in the same way if looming is rare?
Looming is seen more often than sinking.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go with that answer. Can a physical object such as water in the foreground loom up and obstruct something in the background?
Fantastic question.
Hold on, it doesn't.
Anything is an object, including the water.
If it's loomed up,
Rumpus,
hold on. The whole point about
I'm
looming
sorry.
is there's something you can't see, but due to looming, you then can see because it's raised up. That's what looming is.
Right, but it would make it appear higher than its actual position, correct?
Correct.
So could that apparent location of that physical object in the foreground obstruct something in the background?
Well, hold on.
Further away from it can, of course.
So it's already remember in the non-loom case. Let me show you what an actual picture from
yes
George
or no,
showed.
Rumpus. Answer
Can
the
you
question.
answer, Rumpus?
Well, I can show you because you don't see me
No,
answer.
I just want you to say yes. We're taking you on your word.
Well, I didn't. Your question was malformed. You obviously
agree
things.
with Professor Phil.
Hold on. Let me show you what looming is, and then we can. Then there's no doubt about.
We all have seen
Answer
looming, Rumpus.
Rocky's question.
But his question was
looming
malformed.
Of
course,
foreground
foreground
object
can obstruct things in the background.
An object in the distance.
The thing that defines looming is that things in the background are raised up.
See, this is the disingenuous part.
No,
of
I don't
all
understand
of
your
this.
question. I do not understand what you're saying.
Yeah, Professor
I
Phil
don't
understood.
understand your
Is
question,
Professor Phil
Rakia. That's the
smarter than
problem.
you?
I don't
course he is.
understand your question.
You know
You should
everything
fall
about
back and
everything.
let
You can
Professor
answer
Phil
any
take
question,
over
but
then.
you obfuscate when it comes to these
I
questions.
don't obfuscate.
You know it's,
I don't
you know it's
understand
possible.
your
you
stupid.
know it's possible.
I'm
you know
showing
that's
you
what's
here.
going on.
Right,
Okay,
I'm showing
let
you
me
here
talk,
on
please.
screen what looming is, and then you can.
We all know what looming is.
No, you
I
don't.
can show you a shrimp
No, you don't.
boat.
No,
I
you
can show
don't.
you a shrimp boat
No,
that
you don't.
can't be obstructed.
No, you don't.
Why
No,
are
you
you
don't.
Rumpus, I can try and
Why are
explain.
you
what
jamming,
I
you're
can
trying to
sir?
show
do.
you if you
You
give me
sound
10
like a
seconds.
fool.
I can show you on screen what
Yeah.
looming is.
After I finish talking, you
Can I
show
just show
everyone
you
on
what
screen, that's
looming
fine.
actually is,
I
and then
can't
you can
see
say
the
what you
screen,
think it
Rumpus.
is?
It does me no good.
Can you be quiet? And I would just like 10
No,
seconds to
because
show you
you're
what
showing me
looming is.
something I
Be
can't
quiet.
see, sir. You're
I'm
not
going to show
listening.
you, and then you can ask me questions
This
about
is
it, and then you'll
impossible.
understand it. It's always
Brandon,
much
get this guy
clearer.
to answer a question, man. Get Rumpus to answer
Can
a
I
Please stop
question.
just
yelling, Rumpus.
tell you what
Please.
looming is for 10 seconds, and then you can say whether it agrees
I
with what
can't
you were
see
saying.
the screen,
I don't
Rumpus.
understand your question, Rakia. So, here
Oh,
is looming.
Rumpus,
On the
please.
Why are
left-hand
you doing
side,
anything if you
on
don't
the
understand the
left-hand
question?
side is a non-loom
Why are you talking
situation.
right now if you don't
I
understand
don't
the
understand
question?
your question.
Then
So
let
on
me
the
rephrase
left-hand
it.
side, on the
Let him
left-hand
rephrase
Why are you
side,
talking?
on the left-hand side is a non-loomed
You're a joke,
situation,
Rumpus.
and here
You're
is the
exposed
horizon.
every day. We
And
talk
on
to
the
you, sir.
right-hand side is a loom situation where we can see the lake behind the horizon that we couldn't see before. This is looming.
Congratulations.
This is
You
why
showed us
Nathan
something we all know
Jesus
mutes him,
exists.
Christ.
because he can't talk to
Now,
him.
what is your problem? What don't you understand about looming?
Can looming occur in the foreground and obstruct something in the background?
No, because things in the background are loomed up more, you twat.
No.
How do you
no,
know?
You're
Why?
saying,
Yes,
They're not
that's
doing
what
it
it's
over
showing on
Earth
screen
yet.
here. The
you're
things
saying
at the
over
back
30
are
miles?
loomed up more than the things in the front. That's
You're
the
saying
part,
over
the
30
necessary
miles, the
part of
conditions can't
looming.
change?
That's the definition of looming. Things further away are raised up more than the things in the
I'm not
foreground.
saying
Full
in
of
your
shit,
specific
Rumpus.
case of the
Jesus
picture you
Christ,
showed.
you're a moron.
I'm saying
You're
ever.
so full of shit.
You're ridiculous, Rumpus.
Hold on,
No,
can
you're
I
a
say a
moron.
question?
You don't understand what looming is, do you? You claim to understand it, but you
yes,
don't.
sir.
Calm
And I
down.
understand what obfuscation is and deception
No,
is.
you don't understand what. You
Yes,
ask a
I do.
stupid question, and I've
Sure I
told you
do.
exactly what happens. Things further away are raised up more, and therefore you can see things you couldn't see normally.
So
That is
everything we
looming.
see is
I
being
don't know what
Can the
you think
foreground
looming
be
is.
loomed up and the
Rumpus.
background
All right,
be
can I have
not
You
a
just
loomed up?
you're just
Rumpus
over
and
talking. I'm
Rocky
trying to
is
give
done,
you
please?
information, and you're over talking me all the time. It's
You're not
Rumpus.
answering
impossible.
the question.
Yes, Mark.
Rumpus, the image that you've shown there, the one on the left and the one on the right, which is more accurate to reality?
The one on the left.
Why do you
Can I
say
have a
that?
second with Rumpus when you're done, Mark? Thanks.
Yeah, why do you say the one on the left is more accurate than the one on the right?
Well, because it's closer to the geometric condition of the Earth.
Oh, you've used the word geometric.
I
Why
have.
do you say? Yeah, because that is your bias. Why
No, it's
do you
not.
say
It's fact. Scientific fact.
that's your opinion?
That's a scientific fact. Science
why-
backs me. It's not my opinion. It's backed up by science and physics and knowing about refraction.
So you
Which you don't know
science
anything
doesn't
about.
prove anything.
You don't know anything about these things, I'm afraid, Mark. I do, and I know the science knows that means that the one on the left is closer to the geometric condition.
But science doesn't
Can I
prove
have a
anything.
second with Rumpus, please?
And
you
it's
guys?
also the type that the surveyors use to make sure you buildings they
calling you
build for
out,
you're
Rumpus.
correct.
Fuck up.
I'm
Okay,
calling you out. If you don't think the atmospheric conditions can obstruct things in the background, if the atmospheric conditions
Yeah, inferior
causing
mirages do that. I've
refraction
accepted
in
that.
the foreground can obstruct things in
You're
the
talking
background,
about inferior
then you don't know
mirages.
crap, sir. No
You're
one should listen
talking
to
about
you.
inferior mirages, you
I'm
moron.
calling you out right now. How about that?
You're not listening, are you? Just on output only.
Yeah,
Inferior
you're
mirages
not
do this, and I've said
listening.
numerous
I'm
times.
calling you
I've said
out.
numerous occasions, you
I'm
moron. The
telling
inferior
you,
mirages
you
can
don't
do
know
that.
anything.
That's
You're
inferior
telling
mirages,
people
you
rubbish.
moron.
Rumpus, you've not let
Inferior
him say
mirages
one
can
thing
indeed
without
obstruct
talking
stuff.
over him.
He
hang
doesn't
on,
And
hang on.
there's
listen.
other people
I
here.
can't get a
Rumpus,
word
there
out
are
with
other
this twat.
people. Rubbish,
I
you
cannot
haven't stopped
communicate with this twat.
talking.
He's the one over talking me. I'm happy to take turns, but he
Hang on.
doesn't let me
Rumpus,
finish a sentence.
we
I
haven't
was trying to
heard
give
a
a 10
damn thing he
I was
said.
trying to give a 10-second explanation, and he
And you
systematically interrupted
did,
me
and
throughout
then
it.
you won't
No,
stop.
only after about 5
Okay.
minutes of him systematically interrupting me, I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hang on.
Okay,
Hang on,
let him
folks.
have his
Hang
turn
on.
then.
Hang on,
Let him
folks.
have his
Hang on,
turn
folks.
then.
It's Monday.
Jesus Christ.
It's Monday. It's not
Hang on,
Friday.
folks.
Come
Hang on,
on.
folks. Rumpus,
So,
answer
Rumpus,
my
you're under
question.
the.
There was somebody
I
else
think,
coming after
I
me.
think Jeremy was due for a question, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he's been trying to get in for about 10
Yeah.
minutes.
Just ask Rakia what conditions need to be present for looming to happen.
Let Jeremy come in. Come on, folks.
Yeah. So, Rumpus, you're under the assumption that all the objects that we can see are being refracted equally. Is that what you're saying?
Well, refraction means that things more distantly are actually raised up more, so it flattens what you see. But so it's a squared.
So you're under the. Are you under the assumption? See
You're
in
broken up.
our path are being refracted equally.
you
if
broke
so,
up,
something
Jeremy.
was looming. Can you,
You
be
broke
quiet
up,
for
Jeremy.
1 second?
You broke up, Jeremy. Can you repeat your question, please?
Yeah. Are you under the
Rumpus, just let
assumption
him
that
keep
all?
going without saying he broke up,
I
and then you
didn't
can
hear him.
him.
He broke up to me, so I didn't hear the
fuck.
question, you twat.
But then you said it 15 more times.
Yes, but I
Are you
didn't
under
hear
the
what he
assumption-
said, so I
Just
asked him to
stop
repeat himself.
then.
Stop!
relax.
No, I didn't repeat himself. He assumed I'd heard it, and I hadn't. Stop being so
All right.
obnoxious. Jeremy, please ask a question again. I didn't hear you.
All right. Are you under the assumption that everything we can see in our view is being refracted equally?
Things more distant are, when you say refracted more equally, there is the function of refraction is a squared function. It's angular, which means that things further away are refracted. In other words, they're lifted up more than the things close to you, but all things are refracted to some degree, with things in the distance being refracted up more.
Could you not have say you're looking 60 miles? Could you not have something sinking that's farther back and then looming up close?
No, not really. It's
Why not?
almost
It's going
impossible.
through a different. It could be going through a totally different atmosphere. How do you
Yeah,
know
but
what's
that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, possible.
I mean, you'd have to have
going?
dramatic.
Well, this is that proximal looming they're talking about.
There's nothing, no such thing, no such thing.
The looming that
That's just
blocks
made up.
things in the foreground.
That's
No,
just
it's
made
the
up.
looming that box.
You can
blocks
see
things.
it happening,
That's just made up.
Rumpus.
That's just made up.
If it's
Someone just
made up,
that.
then you made it up, Rumpus, because
Yeah.
you've used it
I
as
didn't make
an
that up at
excuse
all.
for observations
I have
we've shown
never
before.
used
Yes, you
proximal
have.
looming ever.
Sometimes
You may not have
Never.
used
you have
that
to come up with
terminology,
a
but you
new
have said
I have
something in the
never used that
foreground can
terminology.
loom
I
up
have
and
never
block something
claimed
in the
that
background. You
things nearer
have.
to us are loomed up more than
You
things.
have.
I've never said that.
You
I've
have.
always
Oh, you're
argued
good with
against
taking
that.
turns.
Brandon, and I don't know whether you're doing this deliberately or just
I'm not.
misremember.
You have.
I have always argued against that very thing.
No, you haven't.
Always
That
argued
is just
against.
not
No,
true.
you've misremembered. Well, either you're lying or you've just
No.
misremembered. I don't know which
Okay.
it is.
Either you're lying or you're misremembered.
No, I remember perfectly, and I've always, always, always argued against that. Always.
Plus, Rumpus is always right.
Correct.
You missed that part.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And I've always argued against that adamantly. That's something that Travis has made up, and I've always argued against
He
it.
can't even
And so for you
remember
to
what he
claim-
argued
So
for
for
the
you
Isle
to
of
claim
Man.
that I've been
let
in
alone-
favour of it is just ridiculous.
You don't even know. Does science prove things, Rumpus?
It depends on what you decide your criterion is. If you're prepared to say what we see about the real world is true, then you could say it does prove things. But, well, no, it can't even then, actually.
Oh God,
as
it's
well
gone
as,
from it
don't even know.
proves
He
things
doesn't
to
even
it
know.
doesn't
So
prove
then-
things
so
to
then
back to it proves things again.
it depends on whether or not...
Holy
Confused,
shit.
Rumpus. It's okay.
These guys just change their mind on a daily basis.
It fundamentally doesn't prove things. But you can say you've got a high probability
You were
of things
just
being
telling
true.
it. You were just telling us how this refraction a proven fact scientifically.
No, I didn't say proven. I never used the word
You
proven.
said it was a scientific fact.
You
I
said it
did
was
say that,
science.
yes. I did say
Is
that, yes. I said
is the fact proven or?
that you can have physical facts and then you can have logical
You did say you could
facts.
prove it.
It
Wow,
depends
that's
on what
delusional.
precision you're
So
interested
this is
in.
a fact, but it's not proven. This refraction thing.
Nothing
It
is proven.
depends
If you
on
want to
your-
go to the ultimate extent, we don't know that invisible green pixies are not transporting the light to us. You don't know that invisible green pixies are. We don't even know if we're not in a computer simulation or a matrix. We can't prove any of this stuff. So
I think
ultimately,
the
we cannot
invisible green pixies
logically
came
prove
and took
anything.
your
We also don't know
marbles,
if green
Rumpus.
pixies make you believe a ball. So what are we talking about here?
We don't know. We're not in a software simulation, so you cannot prove anything.
Wow.
Good.
That's fucking retarded. Do you know that?
No, it's not. You don't understand
What you just
philosophy.
said- what you
No, you
just
don't
said
understand
is
philosophy,
retarded.
Jeremy.
There
I'm
it
afraid you
is,
really need to
philosophy.
expand
Oh
your,
God, now
you need
our
to expand
reality
your
is
It's a
intellectual
dictated
horizons.
by
model,
his
the
philosophy.
You need to expand your intellectual horizons, Jeremy. I'm afraid you need to read up on this. Read about solipsism.
Are they flat?
Oh, what flat?
The horizons
Solipsism.
you were just projecting onto us.
Yes, the horizon is horizontal.
No, it's not.
Professor Phil.
There we go.
Professor Phil has already established that the horizon is indeed horizontal.
It
and
isn't.
well, it is. We got the professor. Who
Yeah,
the fuck are
see,
you?
Professor
This guy's-
Phil seems to at least be
This guy's got
half on the
credentials
ball.
and shit. Hold on, Paige. This
So
guy's
was
got
he
credentials
right
and shit.
about
This guy's
was
got
he right about
credentials and
Angle's
shit.
triple
He
error?
just hold the fuck
Okay,
on a
so
second.
let me clear
No,
about
he's not
Professor
right that it
Phil's
can't
got
be done on a flat plane because
Oh
it
my
can.
God, guys!
Oh,
You hear me?
so
Is
he's
my
right
mic
about
fucked
what
up?
you want him to be right about.
Yo, is my mic fucked up, or you guys just don't give a fuck?
As you
Sorry, guys,
as you
go for-
rise up, the further
So
you
Professor Phil
get
Bell
from the
is a-
surface,
Oh my God!
He's
the
trying to
more
answer
it's
you now,
obvious-
Jeremy. You can let him speak.
I wanted to
He
make
didn't
it-
get
I've
to
been
ask
trying
his
make a
question.
statement for like 60 seconds now, but I guess not.
the further you get from the surface, the more that you'll see that the Earth is actually a sphere. If you get right down to where you're only 5 foot and you're looking out, it looks horizontal to you. It's got to do that. As you get higher up, you'll notice that it's not horizontal, that it's actually curved. When you get into space, you'll see that it's a sphere.
And would
Professor
that
Phil.
happen on
That's
a
all.
flat? Would that happen on a flat plane also? As would our horizon
Hang
be
on, Phil.
horizontal on a flat plane, and then as you got up, it might start to appear curved?
Hang on.
Is
Phil,
this
Phil,
an infinite flat plane?
Hang on a minute. Phil imagines
If we
that
were
he
on a
can-
flat plane, would
How
the
big is
horizon
this
appear
plane?
horizontal at ground level
you-
and then appear to curve as we
How
got higher?
big is this plane you're talking about?
And are you claiming it's a large disc?
It's just a
'Cause we'll
question.
go with that.
Yeah, but the
Just a
questions
question.
depend on the size of the plane. If you, for instance, if you
Yeah, if
wanted
your
to,
ball can look flat, our flat plane can look like a ball.
10,000 miles.
Well done.
right? If you, okay, that's fine. If you, for instance, if you
The
kept
higher
below,
you get, the more it looks like a ball, but it's really flat.
if you kept
it's-
below
so it's a
3.5
large
miles,
distance.
Really?
if
It's a
you
large
kept
disc.
below, if you kept below 3.5 miles up, the horizon would rise up to eye level and look perfectly
Go on, say it.
straight.
Say
if
it
you're on
flat.
a flat Earth.
Say it flat.
Yes, yes.
No,
if it was
that's
if you're on a
not,
flat
that's not
Earth,
correct, because me and Brandon did some observations this weekend, and we showed that if we were on a flat plane and you go up, the horizon would appear curved.
how can you do an observation on the thing? You need to mathematically prove it. You can't do an observation to prove this. Because you don't know the shape of the Earth is in dispute. We'd say whatever you've just
What? You can't
observed.
do an observation to see a curved horizon. What?
No, he was saying that he'd done an observation to show that the flat Earth has got a particular shape. But given the fact that he was observing a spherical Earth, his observation cannot be applying to a flat Earth.
Oh, so we can say that to you then, can we? Because you're on a flat plane, all your observations are null and void because you're actually doing them on a flat
But all
plane.
the observations agree with the spherical Earth model, and they disagree with the flat Earth model. All
No,
observations,
they don't,
Ranti's observation, for instance, agrees with
my goodness,
the
it
globe
wasn't
Earth model.
Ranti's observation
I
for
know.
a start.
I'm giving it a name.
And Rumpus, please, can I ask you something then?
Okay.
When Bev shows that little 30-second, 30-minute time lapse of the same place, and you can see it's like stretching like an accordion.
Yeah, it's moving around a bit. It's not moving around
So
hugely, but it's moving around a bit.
It's moving. That roller coaster moves like, oh my God, it's like 3 or 4 millimeters on the
angles.
And that will change your angles. This happened in half an hour.
Yeah.
But the
So
mountain.
nothing.
All the images and all the images.
Nothing.
Paige, listen.
You do
all
on that picture is going to be worth anything, guys.
All
Do you
of the
understand,
images.
Rumpus?
Paige, all of the images, even though they wiggled up and down a little bit, they all still show
It's
that the
not
Earth
a
is
little
not flat.
bit.
Well, whatever the wiggle we can
It does
see.
show. Rumpus, it
Paige,
definitely
please
shows
let me
it's not a
finish.
ball because you can
Paige,
see
you've made your
the
point.
bottom of the mountain
Please
on the
let me
left-hand
answer.
side of the
Paige,
picture.
please let me answer. You've made your point.
Have you seen the whole picture?
Yeah, I have.
Yes, we've seen the whole
Paige, Paige,
So
can I
that
please answer the point?
hang on,
Paige,
just one
Paige,
tiny
you've asked
little
about
bit
5
extra.
questions
The bottom
now,
of that
and I haven't been able to get
knows
one
the statement.
answer
I
out.
don't want to ask the
Please,
question.
could I answer at least one of your questions, please? So you've asked
We
about.
can
You
see the
pointed out
base
Bev,
of that
you've
mountain,
pointed out
Rumpus.
Bev's thing, and the point is, all of the images, even though they've wiggled around by about 5 to 10%, still all show that the Earth is not flat and is spherical. Go ahead. Next question.
No, they don't, because
They do.
you can see on the left-hand
all
side
still
of that picture. So you're not gonna let me even answer now, even though I stopped and let you go and gave way
Yeah, well
to
done
you,
for stopping,
conceded. Yeah, well, so you can't do the same for me.
Go
ahead.
Is that what we've got here?
Well, you exhausted my patience.
Can Rumpus be muted so
Oh,
someone else
really,
can at least
Rumpus? I
speak?
think I'm pretty tolerable to have a conversation with, actually.
What do you think,
When you're in
Brandon?
good
You want to
behavior,
let
you
him keep
are.
going? You wanna let
Same
him
with
keep
you,
going,
mate.
Brandon?
So
Yeah,
Well,
let me
I'm saying he's
the
muted
mountain.
nonstop, but
let
if
me
you
read
can't even
my
let Paige respond, it
let me
gets
read the
pointless.
super chat here. Let's take a break for a minute. Brian's Logic 549. Rumpus, what has mirages got to do with 76R? When 76R is just made up nonsense, but mirages are real.
Well, they don't have much to do with 706R. The 706R is an established hundreds of years worth of surveyors have to use to get things right. They have to assume 706R in usual conditions. Mirages, as I demonstrated with the temperature profiles I was showing, give you different conditions. And obviously, if you had those sorts of conditions, a surveyor wouldn't use them. So they just reflect different refraction conditions. And the normal one is the 706R. That's the standard state.
Paige was getting to her punchline. Let that Paige come in.
Huh?
Paige was getting to her punchline.
Oh, hold on just one second. I thought there was one other thing from Cleary, but it disappeared. Okay, if you guys want to keep going with Rumpus, go ahead.
Cleary, DM it to me and I'll say it. Hold on. Cleary, DM it to me, I'll say it.
Come on, Paige. Paige was making her argument.
Yeah, go ahead, Paige. Go ahead.
That's all right. I thought Jeremy wanted to say what he was trying to say before when he couldn't get his words out.
It's fine.
No, all I wanted to add was that when you see the entire picture, you get to see all the way to the bottom of the mountain on the left-hand side.
It's not the bottom of the mountain.
So Rumpus,
It's
honestly.
not the bottom of the mountain.
You couldn't let me finish.
Go ahead.
You can see a lot further than what your model says we should.
No, it doesn't.
So the fact that whole image is moving up and down in the space of half an hour, a few millimeters on the screen, means nothing. You can't even get the proper angular size of that mountain because you can't see the base of it behind the tower. Like, there are so many things wrong with that picture. You don't know. You don't know whether the tower.
It's a perfect.
You don't have any pedigree information.
It's a perfect picture.
You don't have any weather. You don't have anything. Nothing that we actually claim. You know, I really do not understand why this picture wasn't brought to the community and said, shit, you know, I think this picture shows this, you know, what do we need to have to, you know, because I'm thinking this is a ball, what do I need to have?
The tower is larger than the mountain. That is not possible on a flat Earth.
Hold on, let me go real.
Yeah, go for it, Jack.
A super chat from Cleary. Cleary, $2. Is an 8-inch drop elevation, or that might be for Rumpus, I think.
Yeah, it will be.
Sorry, what was about 8 inches? What do you want to know about the 8 inches again? Sorry, I was looking at something.
Is an 8-inch drop elevation or curve?
Well, Nate, is he talking about the formula for drop, which is 8 inches times the mile squared?
Is an
8-inch?
Yeah, he said, would an 8-inch drop be? You kept cutting out, Jeremy.
Yeah, you kept on cutting out.
Would an 8-inch drop be?
Is an 8-inch drop elevation or?
You've cut
Curve.
Is an 8-inch drop elevation or curve?
Fucking killing me.
Well, an 8-inch drop is an 8-inch drop, but is he referring to the formula for drop, or was he talking about there is a situation of 8 inches of drop? I don't quite understand whether he's talking about the formula to give you all the drop you need to know.
No, he's asking if in reality you walk a mile and you've dropped 8 inches. What is it, elevation or curve?
Well, you haven't changed your elevation at all, but you have a drop relative to your initial position, which I can show you.
How do you know?
Well, I can just show you what that drop actually means, if you give me a second on my diagram.
Well, before you change your diagram, let me just say that the image that you've got on screen right now is showing an inferior mirage on the left. So on the right hand side with January the 13th, that's just a normal image, and on the left hand side it's an inferior mirage.
Sorry, I can't remember which image I've forgotten what.
Oh no,
James, your mic's open.
She noticed your window was open, so she had asked me to see them.
Damn it, I forgot. What image did I have on the screen, Ranty? You're talking
Yeah,
about?
you had the sort of like, I think it was George's, observations
that
up
one.
there.
That was it. Yes, that's it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's the one.
So that one, essentially, that was like on the left-hand side, you definitely had an inferior mirage there, and it was showing the trees. The trees were covering up the ocean or the lake or whatever it was filming over. And to present that, it's really sad because you can definitely see the mirror reflection on the left-hand side image, even though you've cropped it slightly. You can absolutely see that.
Hold on, I can move it out of the way.
No, you don't have to move out the cropping to hide that.
Well, you were complaining it was cropped, so I've revealed more of the image.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, you'd absolutely see the inferior mirage. It's definitely, if you go to the very left-hand side of that image, you can see a very clear reflection of the trees, and it's to the left-hand side. You can definitely see a reflection, and you know where that inferior mirage is in the center. And you know what? That center line matches up with the right-hand side where you've got the extended water on the right-hand side. So where you've lined it up, if you were to run a line through that, you would actually run through the inferior mirage. So I don't know why you're presenting this at all. I thought you would have seen that. It's definitely an inferior mirage. You can definitely see this.
Right, moron. This was a presentation of the a normal refraction on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side is looming. This is actually loomed up image. So that what is previously obscured by the horizon, this is normal refraction on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side are these black swan looming conditions, which means you can see something you could not see normally is raised up and loomed up, and this is what looming is here for you.
How about the
So-
gravitational anomalies causing flat water, Ranty?
So would you not agree though that the left hand side is an absolute inferior mirage of the trees?
No, no.
Would you not? I reckon
there is an inferior mirage.
I reckon that if I look across that, I can definitely see an inferior mirage and a repeat of the tree line across that entire span, covering the waterline. Definitely.
Okay, I'll grab a line and then make this yellow, and you tell me where the fold line is.
You just need to look on the right hand side. You can see the fold line.
Tell me what to do with this yellow line. You want to move it up or down? Tell me where this fold line is.
Hang on, let me watch your screen.
Oh, for Christ's sake! So you don't know what you're talking about. Just gibberish.
I can see the inferior mirage there. I mean, it's like it's so
Where
obvious.
do you want me to move the fold line, up or down? Twat.
Tell me the honeymoon's over already, guys.
I was never.
Listen. I'll call that bullshit when I see it.
He's just become a globe.
And this is just an inferior mirage.
Yeah,
this is
fair
just an
enough.
inferior
He
mirage.
shouldn't be giving you. Yeah, he shouldn't be giving you such a hard time over
In
it. You're
this
right.
image,
It is.
it's an inferior mirage page. It is. It's an inferior mirage. You can see it on the left hand side. You can see it.
You won't tell me where
Yeah,
the
even on my tiny little phone screen, I can tell that's the tops of the trees mirrored into the water, and I've got like a tiny little screen, and I can
Tell me where the fold line is, then, you little moron. You're a twat, aren't you? You can't say anything. Okay, so never mind. Practice had his.
Okay, so you need to go up a little bit. So if your yellow line is there, you need to go up.
Then we would have
keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up. Keep going up. Don't. No. Keep going up.
Case, then the tower would be mirage, wouldn't it? And it's not.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
No, it wouldn't.
Refraction is.
Listen to me. Listen. Stop interrupting me. The tower is pretty near, and the water extends for an extended distance, so you get the effect, over an extended distance. But because the tower's pretty close, you don't see that inferior mirage on it. So you need to go up a tiny bit more, just a few pixels more. There we go. Boom, perfect. Right, smack bang in the middle. There you go. You've got your inferior mirage with the trees behind.
This black blob here is. Oh no, it isn't here, is it? All right. So
What? Now, there we go. Now look at the right hand. Hold on. Now look at the right. Hold on. Don't freak out. Don't freak out. Please don't freak out. Just look at the right hand side now at the image where the water line was on the right hand side.
You want me to point where my pointer is now?
No, go further across. Further to the right.
Let me move this out the
way. There we
go.
No. I want the fucking image on the right.
That's the looming image, you twat.
It's not looming.
This is one image, and that's another image. You were talking about the left-hand image with an inferior mirage, and now, as like you do with everything else, you got it completely wrong.
No, it's the other way around, my friend. It's the other way around.
Jesus Christ, you're just a useless waste of space, aren't
you? No, it's the other way around.
You are a twat of the first order.
It's the other way around. It's the other way around.
Of the first order. You are addicted to being wrong.
You are addicted. You are addicted
to being wrong.
Every single thing you are addicted to 7 6-hour refraction. That's what you're addicted to.
You can't even work out in the mage thing what the bloody hell.
You are addicted to that.
Which I'm addicted to science. I'm addicted to facts. Yes.
Hold on, Rumpus. Ranty, maybe just explain to him the gravitational anomalies causing flat water.
Look, listen, I can argue with Rumpus over this because he's wrong in this. It absolutely is an inferior mirage. It's an inferior mirage of the trees.
You are wrong about everything, except your recent thing was correct. This photograph is the only thing you've ever been right about. Is your photograph is valid, that you've decided it's affected you. But everything else you've always been wrong about. Whether it's misidentifying mountains, ships, wind turbines, which camera the mage is looking out of, or your diagrams of the Isle of Man, whether it's a golf club or Scotland or Ireland, you are always wrong. You can't get anything right, and you've just changed it for the first time in your life. You've got the image right, your opinion right about the, I'm going to call it the ranty image here. But other than that, you're always wrong, and you haven't changed. I'm afraid you're now going to get everything wrong about looming.
Not at all. No, you are just obsessed with looming. You've never been able to prove it. You've never been able to prove it. And this is my point. This is my point. This is my point.
Shown you.
You haven't shown anything. You haven't. You've shown an inferior mirage.
Here we go, people. Here we go. This is just denying what is in front of his own eyes. Here we have an image on the left-hand side of this from a camera from exactly the same position, with exactly the same focal length, with exactly the same tilt. And you can see on the left-hand side, we cannot see the lake beyond the tower. On the right-hand side, in unusual conditions, we can now see the lake on the right that we could not see, that was obscured. This
It's an
is
inferior mirage over the water.
No, it's
you do realise that the inferior mirage overlaps the bottom of the water underneath your eye line. You do realise that, don't you? I mean, I know you haven't taken photographs, but that is the truth.
What is the truth? Where are you saying it's an inferior mirage?
When you have an inferior mirage, inferior mirages to the bottom. It overlaps something that would be in the mid-centre. So on the right-hand side, where you've got that clear line of water, right? Anything that's inferior miraged underneath that would be overlapping the water.
I don't know. You're just talking gibberish. We can see.
No, not at all. No.
We can see things we cannot see before. This is obscured on the left-hand side. We can't see the water beyond the horizon, and on the right-hand side we can. That is the definition of looming.
I got a question. Hold on, Rumpus.
He's just
I got a
denying
question
what's on
for you.
screen. It's just incredible.
Yeah, hold on, Rumpus.
He complains that other people are doing that to him and his image, and he's doing it now to this image. Go ahead.
Can I ask Ranty a question, please? Thank you. Now, Ranty, if you think they've got these optical effects wrong, couldn't there just be some optical effect happening in that Blackpool photo causing us to see what we see?
No,
since they got the optical.
Because I spent 2 months trying to dissect that, and I'm still gonna say it. You know, that shows absolute drop in my location, so I'm absolutely on the globe side. You know, I'm arguing with the Rumpus right now, but that's only over this optics bollocks about 7/6 refraction shit that doesn't fucking exist.
So you don't even believe photons
you're
exist.
willing to
You're
admit,
just a science denier.
That's just because Rumpus. That's just because
you're
Rumpus.
willing to admit that they got.
You just don't know anything about refraction. You've never known understood about refraction. You don't understand what inferior mirages, how they're caused. You're just a moron.
No. You're just wrong, Rumpus.
So
you just know nothing about science. You are a science.
You are one of like.
So now it's just going to evolve into
you are 100% wrong about everything.
I just wanted one follow-up.
Rumpus is one of 4 people that absolutely will live and die on this idea that you can have looming behind Earth curvature, right?
Science agrees with me.
Most people are you know, sort of like.
Who cares what most people think? Science agrees with me.
Anything?
Ambiguous about this, right?
Anything?
But okay, so the evidence I put out absolutely shows drop. Fair enough, and that's why I'm on the globe side. But still, Rumpus is wrong about his 7/6 bollocks.
Science agrees with me, Ranty.
Crap,
you are wrong,
exist,
as usual.
never will.
You are wrong. You're back to your old habit of being completely wrong.
Something
have my follow-up question, please.
You know nothing about refraction. Nothing at all.
I just wanted one follow-up question. I mean, I don't understand, Ranty. They've gotten the optical effect wrong. They're claiming looming. You're saying they're wrong. So do we really know what's going on optically, or could it be something that's giving us an apparent drop visually when it's actually a flat plane?
No, in this image, what you're looking at right now, you have a tower, or let's call it a tower that's relatively close, and the optical effects haven't had time to affect that. So there is no inferior mirage on that. Listen, don't let him interrupt you. Don't let him dissect anything. Right? That's too close to have this inferior mirage affect that. But when you go and extend that, and you go like 5 times further, and you see those trees, then you definitely get the inferior mirage on that. So this is why you're seeing the inferior mirage behind the tower, right? And it's overlapping the water behind it, right?
There is no inferior mirage.
So basically,
yes, there is Rumpus.
So it's
not.
So
Yes,
it's
it
impossible that there's an
Absolutely
optical.
not.
So it's impossible in your mind that there's a visual optical effect causing apparent drop, like we've been shown year after year after year in this arena.
Yeah, on the image that we're talking about, Blackpool, absolutely. Listen, I spent 2 months looking at that image. Right? I didn't do it lightly. I didn't come out lightly and say this for the good of my health. I'm not making any money off it, and I'm not being fucking blackmailed by anybody. Listen, I came out and I said that out of the goodness of my heart to my subscribers and the people that followed me in my research, because this is what I was looking for, and I couldn't in any way, shape, or form find an explanation for it. And regardless of what fucking other people are putting out there and saying, making all these, ridiculous claims about the presentation, people just need to go and watch the presentation, make their own mind up for themselves, and decide whether or not actually there is some validity in this. I'm not going to push them. I'm not going to throw it down the faces like Nathan Oakley and fucking Sleeping Warrior and fucking Quantum Erased and all that bollocks bullshit. People can just go and watch it for themselves and make their own mind up. They're adults.
Yes, we know that, Ranty. We know people can make their own mind up.
They're
yes,
adults.
that's really why you might as well tell him
Rumpus,
it's 1 + 1
stop
equal to 2.
trying to inject your sentence. Can you shut up for a second? Jesus Christ, man. So, I mean, Ranty, we've been shown this apparent optical drop for years over land, over water, land, water.
Yeah, but this isn't over land, water, land. This isn't over land, water, land. This is over land, land, land.
Okay, fine, whatever. We've been shown.
No, it isn't.
There's a
apparent
big
optical
difference
drop.
there. There's a big difference there. There's a
Thank you,
huge
Rumpus. I was going to say that.
What are you talking about, Ranty? There are there's a big body of land but after the tower to the
1.5
mountains.
bodies of water.
Don't know what
Yeah,
you're
but
talking about.
that is not
That's
affecting.
gibberish.
Yeah, but that is not affecting the observation.
Oh.
Because-
I don't know that.
How did you determine that? Do you have temperature profiles for the optical
Yeah, I did
corridor?
actually. Yeah, I went to the 24th of January and I actually went to the metadata and I actually found out the data from Barrow and Furnace.
So do you have the pedigree information
Yes,
now?
I did find out all the data.
Yeah.
You haven't found the temperature profile. You won't have found the temperature profile.
I would guarantee that none of you
thought
did
you would have
that.
done that
do you have the
before you
vertical
started
temperature
to do
profile,
the
Ranty?
I
Do you
would
have the
guarantee that.
vertical temp? Do you have the
Shut
vertical
the
temperature
fuck
profile?
up.
Yeah, you
I
haven't.
would
Have
guarantee that none
you
of
have
you.
not got the vertical temperature profile.
I would.
Have you?
I would
course
guarantee
not.
that. I would guarantee that none of you actually did that.
Do you
But I
have
did.
the vertical temperature profile, Ranty?
No, because I don't believe it
No,
proves
but I
anything.
guarantee that I went and I found
It's
out
a
all
That was
picture
a
that
no.
in
That
half
you
an
said.
hour move.
You said no.
Yeah, it's a no.
So the
He
point
doesn't
is
have it. He doesn't have it.
that observation proves drop 100%.
Oh.
100
Without the vertical temperature profile.
it
That
doesn't.
Rumpus
I didn't
just told
even
us
need
we
that,
needed.
because do you know why? Do you know why? Because Bev went back and repeated the observation.
Did Bev have the vertical temperature profile?
He proved it.
Yeah,
so how many?
and
so,
showed it
so every-
moving,
so
Ranty.
wait a minute.
Showed it moving
So
like
wait
an
a minute.
accordion.
Yeah, what
So wait
about
a
when it
minute.
was moving?
So every day that people go back there and they film the same observation every single day, let's say they went for a year and they saw the same thing, are you still going to deny it?
The observation, no, but who's got the vertical temperature profile? Is that what we need?
But if people
to
went every day
calculate
for a year,
refraction?
I will make a deal with you guys right now. I will go every day for a year. How's that? I will go every day for a year and present
But
the
you don't understand,
the
Ranty. When you have standard
Shut up,
refraction every
Rafe.
day, you have
Rumpus.
standard
Shut up.
refraction
Shut
every
up.
day. That
Shut
doesn't mean to say that if you that
Shut up.
just because it happens every day doesn't mean so you wouldn't notice it.
Does he even know what I'm talking
Exactly.
about? Is this guy even understanding what I'm
Probably
trying to say?
I do,
Probably not.
Ranty,
Yeah,
and you're just
exactly.
talking
He's a
gibberish.
double agent.
All right, okay. So Rumpus, what am I talking about?
You seem to think, well, you made the claim, you tried to imply that you had all the information that you need to work out the refraction conditions.
About what?
And for the observation, and you
Of
don't.
what observation?
Either the observation that the guy made and Bev. In neither case do you know the vertical temperature profile. You implied to everybody in this panel that you had all the information. When you were quizzed about it, you deflected from answering that, of course, as you usually do when you don't know anything. Well, you don't know anything anyway. And you also don't understand the principle that if you standard refraction is constant and you don't have any variation, it doesn't mean to say, for instance, you can say there's no refraction. You could have a constant refraction condition. Now, it just so happens that you do occasionally get variations, as Bev observed, but the point is that Bev's observations do not violate the flat Earth invalidation and the spherical Earth proof. But you didn't answer like that. You were just being devious.
So what would you say then? What would you say then? If I went every day for the next year, 365 days, and took a photograph every single time, every single day at the same time,
He just told you. There
are some places in the world that, due to currents or particular.
No, I want to hear his answer to this.
Which would have. I'm going to tell you, there are certain places in the world where you do not get standard refraction every day, and you will get something like looming or black swan conditions. In fact, you have that situation. You seem to have, though I never got around to analysing it properly, with your shore-to-shore observations from Barrow Furness from Blackpool, you seem to have a very constant. You seem to have a very constant extra looming case that caused you to be able to see, not quite shore-to-shore. I didn't fully evaluate it, unfortunately, but you certainly had extra refraction, and not all the time, but quite a lot of the time for several months. You have those conditions, and that doesn't just because something's constant doesn't mean to say that it's zero or lots or little. You can only do that by working out what the refraction is from the vertical temperature gradient. Go ahead, Jeremy.
So
Rampy, did you ever think of
looming? So if there's looming going on in that location, why are we seeing glow proof then over that area?
Ranty, do you own any lasers, Ranty? Have you ever thought of doing a laser at Rumpus? I'm curious if you ever thought of doing a laser.
Jeremy, hold on, man.
All right, go ahead.
Right. Now, the particular place you were, I went and looked on one occasion, and you do seem to have that Barrow Furness. I don't know what the bloody river is there, but you do seem to regularly have colder water and a warmer air than is usual. And I think most of the times you did it was in the winter. No, sorry, in the spring, when you are going to get those conditions of cold water and warmer air.
So that would be looming, right? Okay, so
correct.
Let's go with looming, right? So,
correct.
So why in this case then are we seeing the mountain in the background behind Blackpool, and half of that mountain is below eye level?
Oh, I'm below eye level. You don't know where eye level.
Yes, I do know where eye level is.
Oh, right. Yes. I mean, you're right. You're right. Sorry, you're correct. If you do the appropriate, I mean, I'm not saying that's looming in this condition for what's his name who took the picture of first one? What's his name? We'll call it that. Who's the name we called the
Kevin
picture?
Jackson?
Kevin Jackson. Kevin Jackson's picture. There is indeed not. It looks like standard refraction is going on there, not loom. But I'm saying you can't know that for a fact. But that's what it looks likely. And you do have a sort of a point in saying that most of the world, you do have standard refraction as your default case, and occasionally you get these wacky conditions like the black swan. So, for instance, B, most of the time he gets standard refraction and things are obscured, and then occasionally he gets a black swan scenario. Now, you, with your Barrow Furness observations, seem to get more looming than is normal. But going back to the Kevin Jackson picture, that looks like standard refraction, and that's why we can. Though I'd need to check this by getting the vertical profile to be absolutely sure, but it seems likely that's standard refraction, and that's why we know that because the tower is taller than the mountain, it can't be a flat Earth.
You see, the thing is, you are a refraction freak, and you believe. Hold on, you believe that things can be loomed up from behind.
Showed a picture of it just now.
Hold on, just a minute. That you can see things lifted up from behind the Earth curvature, and I tell you now that there isn't a single. If I went down to the beach,
picture on screen.
If I went down to the beach today and I said to somebody, "Hey, look at that building." Hold on.
This is your reason. You go and ask someone who knows nothing about this.
Why do you keep interrupting me?
Because if you think it's an argument, you go and meet someone on a beach, and they would agree with you. That's not scientific, Ranty. That's the most ludicrous argument I've heard. If I go and meet someone down my street and they say Ranty's a really superb guy, does that make them right?
You made your point without interruption. We all listen to you, right?
Go ahead.
So I'm going to make my point, and it needs to be said from start to finish. Can you control yourself for just a second?
Go ahead.
So if I go down to the beach and I said to hey, see that building over there? See it? And somebody looks at it and goes, yeah. And I say, do you know what? That's a hologram. It's not really there. It's behind Earth curvature. Do you know what they would say? They would say I was a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, because no one would claim it's a hologram.
Yeah, but that's what they'd say.
You know what a hologram is?
Do you know what the thing is? I think you are a refraction addict, and you believe that and you believe that
picture on screen.
Hold on, wait a minute. Did you not just say that you were going to afford me the opportunity to speak without interrupting?
Well, I thought you'd finished.
Well, I hadn't fucking stopped speaking without.
Well, how long are you going to go on for? You've made your
maybe
point.
10 minutes. Who cares?
Don't speak to some. Well, we do care, and we don't want you offering. Yeah, don't care
Because-
about if your argument is that if you go and speak to someone and think about it, it's a ridiculous argument. We want science.
Why
not
is
what
it?
Jack
The science is that there's been no proof ever
claim it's a bloody
whatsoever.
hologram. I mean, what stupid argument? You don't even know what a hologram is, do you?
There's no proof whatsoever of looming. How's that? How's that?
Picture on
for your
screen.
fucking cajuli
Picture on
proof?
screen.
That
Picture
sounds
on
good.
screen.
That sounds good, Ranty.
That is a picture. That is a picture on screen. It is.
Fuck off. That's no proof. That's
It's
no
a
proof.
picture on
There's no
screen
proof.
of it
No,
happening,
it's
and you're
not.
denying your own
No,
eyes.
it is not. Prove
Guys,
it.
you're just butting
No,
heads.
I would agree.
You're
With,
not.
I would agree with you.
There's no
I'm
proof.
getting anywhere.
Looming is
There's no proof
defined
of
as
looming.
bringing things up from behind, and that's
What-
exactly what that picture shows.
Up from behind,
But
you
it's
cannot prove it.
respect to the
You
horizon.
cannot
Oh
prove
my
it.
God!
Bollocks.
Even when we give you
Not
visual
proof.
evidence, you
No.
deny it. It's incredible.
No, no. You
That's
are
all you've got.
you are a refraction addict. And
Science, yeah.
what I'm suggesting is
I
something
agree with the
different,
experts.
and you don't like it because it but hurts
You're
your
an idiot.
little
You know
feelings.
nothing about it. You don't even know how to do basic trigonometry. You
Of
can't
course
even
I
use
do.
trigonometry.
I did the
No,
same
you don't.
trigonometry that Katz did, and we hadn't even exchanged fucking.
You didn't use
we hadn't even
trigonometry.
exchanged fucking
If
images
I
or
asked
anything like
you a
that.
trigonometry question, you would not be able to answer it.
Oh
You do not
my
know
goodness.
basic
Would
math.
you happen to have
certainly
used
know nothing about
horizontal
refraction.
and vertical,
I agree.
right
Andrew
angled,
Young and I,
right
Andrew
lines
Young,
in
an
that
international,
I'm dying to
trigonometry?
get one more
international
question out.
standard expert on this subject, and I are in complete agreement that you can have looming. You're the one in denial, and you're a science denier, and you've been wrong about everything in the past except this last image, and you're wrong again. You're just denying
Absolutely
science.
not. You just don't
And you're
believe that
denying
you can
what's on
have flat
screen.
water on a globe. You don't believe that. You don't
No,
believe
it's
you can have
ridiculous.
flat areas on a globe. You
Correct.
don't believe that there can be
Correct.
any flatness on a globe.
Correct.
Yeah, because you're a
You're a
fucking
science
zealot.
denier.
No,
You're a science
you are a
denier.
Oh, so
You know
you're trying to
nothing.
make all the lakes
are
and
a
oceans
zealot.
flat for him.
Paige,
I
I'm
get it
dying to get
now.
one more question out to Ranty
zealot.
real
Oh,
quick.
sorry, darling. Go for it.
No,
Just real quick.
Paige. Listen, I'm researching some evidence
it's
that
all-
may
There's a joke.
suggest that you can have flatter water in the globe model based upon gravity, right? So that's a new line of research that I'm working on.
Ridiculous.
And Rumpus hates that idea because you know what? He spent the last 3 years working on this refraction calculator, sticking his ass up fucking Mick West's backside, right? And he cannot, for the minute, even take a step back and say,
Sticking
"Do you know
his
what? I
head
may
up.
have been
You're
fucking
just
wrong."
making stuff up. You're just making
No,
stuff up.
you're
No,
making.
of course
No,
they can't
I'm
say they're
not.
wrong.
I'm in
They can
agreement
never say
with
they're
science.
wrong.
Bollocks with fucking diagrams. Look at my diagram with fucking lines
reflects the
going over
science.
there and everywhere. It's fucking
And Mick
shit.
West did
Show
not,
me
by the way.
proof. Show
Mick
me
West has
proof.
not done.
Show
Mick
me
West
proof.
has not done the stuff that we did to model the Isle of Man. He did it a year after I'd
This
done
is
it. So
never
I'm not
gonna
following
end.
Mick West at all. I
Show
don't know
me
where you got that
proof.
from.
Show me
On
proof.
screen.
Show me
On
proof
screen.
of looming. Show me proof of it.
screen.
Guys,
No,
you're
On
just
screen.
butting heads. You're never
On
going
screen.
to.
It's
You'll
there.
literally just keep
The
going for
definition
another
of
2
looming
hours.
is to bring something
Just
that's
stop it.
invisible
Just let
behind the horizon
Jeremy
and to
have
bring
his
it up.
talk,
And
his
that is
question.
what is on screen. You're
People
denying
aren't
your
stupid.
own
People aren't
eyes
stupid.
now,
They don't.
Randy.
They do not
No, these two
accept
just need
that
to get a
things can be
room.
lifted up behind a fucking earth curvature. People don't accept that.
Who cares?
Normal,
They're
everyday
morons like
people
you.
don't accept that.
Yeah, they're morons like you who don't accept it. But people who
Rumpus,
know
can I
about this
have a
subject, the
second, or-
experts in the field, do think so, and they agree with me, or I agree with them.
No,
All
they
right.
don't.
Could I
Andrew
have a
Young,
meet?
one of the
Alright, this is
leading
a flat Earth
experts
show, not
in the
a
world on the
glober
subject,
brawler.
agrees
calm
that
down,
looming can
guys.
do that. He defines
Calm
looming that
down.
way.
Fucking looming.
Ranty,
You,
Can I
just
have a-
you know nothing about
Rumpus.
science. You know nothing about refraction,
One
and you're
of you
denying
is
an
going to
expert
have
in the
to stop.
subject.
I
Good.
just
Could
want
we
real
move
quick,
on?
man. Real quick.
Let me have
Ranty,
a word with Ranty. Let me have a word with Ranty.
No. I just
Hang
I've
on,
been trying
Phil.
to get
Hang
in
on.
for 5
Jeremy's been
So wait,
dying.
another fucking glober wants to go.
minutes. Ranty, do you own a laser beam and did you observation
Yeah.
at this point? Before you decided to make your mind up.
I've seen lots of shore to shore observations. And this idea that things are looming around the Earth curvature, it's just bollocks to me. I think there's something else going on. Listen, I can't deny the image that I found on and has been validated by Bev, and I can't deny that there's absolute drop. But on the other side of the coin, when you look over water, there's an absolute.
What do you mean
shore-to-shore.
validated by Bev?
This is not answering
It
my
hasn't
question.
been
Hold on.
validated by Bev.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yes,
I
it
tell you what, why even ask me a question if I can't even finish my question?
Go ahead. It was, did you own a laser, and did you think of doing a laser observation at this point before you switched?
If I'd have done a laser observation, it would have showed shore to shore.
Which shore?
From where the observation was taken to Blackpool.
And would that have still validated the globe model?
Yes, I believe so, because if you look at the maps that are put out there with the like the Liverpool flats and things like this, which is very close to that area, and you also look at the terrain. Who's coughing? Really?
So wait a second. If it isn't the 7/6R refraction,
Is this what
Jimbo?
That's Jimbo.
Hold
Hot
on,
mic.
hold on.
You're just going to cough all over my response. Listen, guys, listen. You're either here for a proper chat about this, or you're just going to take the piss.
I was asking a question. You
Yeah,
were
no, but
saying
somebody's coughing all
you're
over me.
basically
Jimbo's
saying it's
mic was
not
open.
7/6R. It's basically not 7/6R. Is your argument? Then explain all the other laser tests we've seen.
What? So that are you going to right? So if the new line of research suggested that at shallow in shallow waters, let's say anything beneath 60 meters, let's say, that the gravitational forces on that region is in line with the topography of the land rather than the globe shape as a whole, would you not say then
So you're going to have flat water and drop on the land. Is that what you're saying? Like the water's more flat and then the curve is on the ground.
Yeah, but once the land has very little effect on the water, then obviously it becomes the globe. I mean, you can't deny the image. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I mean, there's a lot of crap out there that people are putting out.
We can deny the image.
For what reason?
We don't.
Have you watched
because it's an image, darling. You can't measure. Yeah, and I watched the time lapse of the whole place moving like an accordion as well.
You
can't get angular size from things that change that much.
Listen, do you know what you watched, love? You watched clouds rolling in and passing through it that magnified it and then just, put it back to normal. You didn't watch Fermat's principle. You didn't watch Fermat's principle. Shut up, Rumpus. You didn't watch Fermat's
I'm sorry, Ranty, but a moving picture is not going to change a water level tool that we use in reality to establish horizontals, to create levels, to build things at a level.
I will absolutely debate anybody on this channel about the observation. Now, I know that Brian's Logic wants to have a debate, and I was just having a chat with Brandon before. Apparently, Brian's been in touch with him, and I will absolutely present a case for the observation, and I'm sure that Brian will too. So if Brandon's willing to host that, I'm absolutely willing to go head to head with Brian, who is part of the FED debate team. So I'm sure he'll have all the flat Earth debate team behind him on this. I'll just be by myself, and it'll be me versus the flat Earth debate team, and let's get it on. I will defend this position, and I will defend the observation and why I came out as a glober based upon this observation.
Don't forget to consult some random person on the street. Go and consult some random person on the street about it as well. That'll be helpful.
Rumpus, you sound desperate. You sound desperate, Rumpus.
Well, you wouldn't believe his argument, Jose. He was saying that one argument in his favour was if you were to go to chat to someone on the street and propose to them to be in a hologram, they wouldn't agree, and therefore he had an argument. I mean, this is the level of argument this guy has.
You sound desperate, Rumpus.
You're scared because you know that
you shut up, Jose. Shut up. Get lost,
your looming bollocks days are over,
He
mate.
hates you. As soon as you disagree with him, he hates you.
No, I don't.
Your looming bollocks days are over, mate.
Yeah, I guess agree with
Rumpus, you're too long-winded. You're long-winded, Rumpus. Shut up.
Twat.
Shut up, you're long-winded.
Be quiet, you moron. You've got nothing useful to say.
There's a lot of
yes, I've got a picture on
violence
screen
tonight.
that is validated by science, and you're in disagreement with it. I'm in agreement with Andrew Young, an expert on refraction. You know nothing about the subject. You can't do
How
basic
did you measure
trigonometry.
that?
You lost me, Rumpus.
Yeah, I know you're a moron, Jose. We know that.
Andrew
So-
Thomas Young says your height
Monday,
real, that you ray trace. I don't think you're up on Andrew Thomas Young, honestly.
You broke up, Jeremy. You broke up, Jeremy, I'm afraid.
He said the ray
Monday,
tracing
baller
is conceptual model. They're not actually real.
2 bottles of red wine, mate. Sorry, I'm just answering somebody. Yeah, I've had 2 bottles of red wine. What can I say? But still, I would still debate anybody on this.
on that note, Ranty, when you're coming out, you spent years creating a YouTube channel. You started this Discord channel. Why did you decide to come out on Cat's channel and not here?
Yeah, I think looking back on that, that might have been, an oversight on my point. I mean, perhaps I should have just put the information
That's what
out
upset
first,
me the most, Ranty.
and
that you
ask
didn't come
people.
to us.
Yeah, I should have asked. I should have
Yeah,
asked.
I was a bit hurt by that.
For people to try and explain it first before I came out. But listen, I spent 2 months looking at that and trying everything that I could to try and make it work to a flat Earth. But you guys have no idea how much effort I put into the flat Earth over the years, mate. I mean, you have no idea. And
Ranty is up perspective, bro.
But no, yeah, but I tried to find it. I tried to find a solution for that fucking image. I really did. And
Ranty, that image. Ranty,
wait a
that
minute.
image.
Let me just finish.
I'll debunk you the image whenever you want me to.
Why didn't I put it out? I didn't put it out to the community because I didn't want to be brought back in, as in, like, somebody made some stupid comment that may have triggered the flat earther in me to reevaluate it and think, oh shit, yeah, it is flat. But it wasn't. I spent 2 months going through that image like a
So you'd already decided no matter
You
what
said
we
this
could
about
have
20
shown you.
times, Ranty. We know
Ranty,
this.
we've
been
find an answer for that.
Yeah,
Ranty,
you
we've
said
been
that about
getting
20
shown
times.
But you didn't
And you're
come
right.
and ask
You
any
can't
of
find
us.
it.
We
It's a
may have
spherical
been able
sphere.
to give you an answer, but you didn't give us a chance, is all we're saying.
Yeah,
Do you guys want Ranty? Do you guys want the image debunked?
I'm just stunned
I
that
apologize.
you left
I
us in the
apologize.
dark.
I apologize.
Ranty,
No worries. Thank you, darling. Yeah, if you're happy, Ranty, that's all I care about. Honestly, mate.
I
Like,
apologize
if this
for
is
that.
what makes you happy, then
But
Brandon, I can
understand that
debunk Ranty's image.
We've been getting shown apparent optical drop from horizontal for 4 or 5 years now. Like, this isn't that would be the same thing. This apparent optical drop they're showing us with the picture. Like, it's nothing new or different.
Yeah.
This was different. This had all the components. This was like
How was it different? How?
This was the golden egg of golden eggs. And
It wasn't better than Miles Davis's observation. His actually was better. No, you didn't understand it.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
Right,
You didn't understand. He actually managed to, because he had things at the same elevation, he was able to say, right,
He
looking
didn't,
along
though.
the line of sight.
You could
he
argue
did.
about what his elevation was. You could argue about it. If
He
was a
showed
meter
you in
below
his
or-
videos.
Yeah,
He did it
doesn't
about
matter.
3 times, and he showed
Listen,
you exactly
it
where he
doesn't
was.
matter.
And your claims that he
It
didn't
doesn't
do so
matter.
is absolutely ridiculous, as usual.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
There
matter. You're
were
an
little
idiot. Okay.
smudges on the
He
horizon.
demonstrated where he
You had
was, and he demonstrated that he
smudges.
was in line, which is much better than the observation we've got with this
Rumpus.
Kevin Jackson. And you just,
can do
I mean,
this.
I understand from your
Rumpus,
point of view
why
because it
don't
was
you
more
just
local to you.
quiet for a minute,
You
dude?
only seem to dislike it
Rumpus.
because it's local.
Rumpus. You
Come
had
on, man.
smudges on the horizon. You had dark smudges on the horizon, which you were claiming were the mountains, and I can accept that they were the mountains, but you couldn't pick anything out on that. You couldn't define anything. You couldn't see anything. In this image, I mean, crikey, it had everything.
You can't be serious, man.
Everything.
The mountains were crystal
The
clear.
Rumpus, please allow me, man.
Be quiet, Jose. The images that Miles Davis brought on 3 occasions, I think he made videos.
I can
of the
debunk this
tower,
picture. You're gonna
the
be looking like a
tower,
fool, and
the
then Ranty
tower,
will be
the
exposed.
tower,
So
and
if any flat earther want to listen to this, it's up to you.
Okay, Jose. I would like to hear Jose's debunk of the image. Actually,
He never has
because-
anything useful to say, so he won't be anything
Well,
useful.
to be fair, I would like to. Are you going to
Okay.
say that it's not a globe Earth proof, Jose?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay, so I'm definitely interested.
I'll give you a visual example. So 1 block in front of me, there's a 2 stories building. I'm looking at it.
Hang on, wait a sec. Are you presenting anything?
No, I'm not presenting. I'm just visualizing in your mind, right? So I'm sitting in here, and 1 block away from me, there's a little 2-story building. So I can see it, that little building, a square building. Now, very far away, 20 blocks away, there's a 10 stories building. How many floors of that building am I going to be seeing above this 2-story building? And if that building behind it is further away, is that building not going to drop below the 2 stories building in front of me? Boom.
You're an idiot. Absolute
I have
moron.
no idea
That's
what you
nothing.
just said.
Yeah,
there.
no, it's
Hey,
absolute
hang
gibberish.
on,
It wasn't-
hang on.
We knew it'd be a waste of time, and it was. It's
Are you
just
guys talking
typical
about
Jose
Blackpool?
level of argument. Jesus
Rumpus,
Christ,
quiet.
that
Are you
was
talking
even
about
more
Black-
stupid. I'll tell you what, Jose, Aranti, you're damn sight more intelligent than Jose.
Right, so Rumpus,
You don't have to add those things, you know.
So I got a two-story
Let them
building in
beat
front of
each
me,
other
Ranty,
up.
right?
Yeah, we don't care, Jose. We don't care. It was just gibberish.
I care, Rumpus. I care.
No, we don't care, Jose. You
No,
don't have anything useful
no.
to say. Go away.
Hey,
No,
real quick,
in the foreground.
it was utter
fuck.
gibberish.
Damn,
Jose.
He's
Rumpus.
hardly
It
said
was
a
utter
Are you
word.
afraid, Rumpus? Are you
Yeah,
afraid,
no,
Rumpus?
Yeah,
Ranty,
no, I'm
you know
afraid
Yes, you
of
are
your idiocy.
afraid.
I'm afraid I
Tango
might
Ice
catch on your
Blast is?
idiocy.
He
Yes.
actually made a point. Let him talk.
You
Well,
are
he's made
afraid,
his point.
Rumpus.
It was idiot. It was
No,
idiocy.
I want to
He's just
explain
wasting
again
everybody's
easier.
time.
Rumpus
He's
is
a
in this
total
flow
waste of
You're
where
everybody's
literally
time.
Hang on
attacking
real quick.
everyone, dude.
Ranty,
You're
do you not
literally
talk
attacking everyone.
Do you
No,
not
I'm
talk
not.
Tango
I
Ice
want to
Blast?
explain it one more time.
I'm being nice to Jeremy, for instance.
Let's hear Jose explain it one more time. Go ahead, Jose.
Oh my god.
All right, I'm sitting, and in the foreground, in front of me, there's a 2 stories building. Behind it, in the background, there's a 10 stories building. And it's a very long road. It's in Florida. Florida is quote unquote flat, right? So over here, I got a 2-story building. Behind it, a 10 stories building. Now, that stories building is away, very away from me, miles away
Very
from
away.
it. Am I gonna see the top of that 10 stories building? There's a 2 stories building behind me. I'm standing on the ground,
Is it at
sitting on
the
my chair,
same
6
elevation?
foot. I'm 6 foot above the ground. I'm
Jose?
looking at the
No,
building.
no,
I'm
the
standing
two
on the
buildings.
ground.
Is the further building sitting
Yeah.
on a hill or in a valley, or is it sitting
It's on a straight, very flat in Florida. Everything.
Can I just say something?
So-
real quick? All right, Blackpool
No.
Tower.
So I'm standing on the ground. I'm standing on the ground on my eye height. On my eye height, I'm standing on the ground. I got a 2 stories building in front of me, which if I go against the building is really high above me. But that 2 stories building is in front of me across the street. Now there's a 10 stories building behind it. And that 10 stories building is really far away. Am I going to be able to see this 10 stories building? I got a 2 stories building in front of me, blocking my eye.
Shit shrinks.
How far away
It depends on the atmospheric effects that are happening. It may be, like the mountain in that picture and
This
be
for a
squished
second.
down.
Miss for a second. Okay, Blackpool Tower is 519 feet, right? Tango Ice Blast is 180 feet. Yet Blackpool Tower is only about 30% taller.
How about this?
It should be about 4 times taller.
Hold on, hold on.
What,
What
in
happened
comparison to the ice blast?
Jose's
In comparison to the ice
example,
blast.
though?
You're saying it should be
Yeah,
how much taller
Ranty,
than the
what
ice
you
blast?
think?
It should be a
That
lot
was for
shorter.
Ranty, and you guys are not letting Ranty address the point. What's going
Yeah,
on?
he thinks it's gibberish, Josie, like the rest of us. So you're saying the
No,
ice blast?
yeah, he
ice
might think that,
blast-
but I want to hear it from him.
the
I want
ice
to hear it from
blast is
him,
how
not from
much
you,
taller you
Rumpus.
Yeah,
think it should
Ranty,
be?
could you respond? Do you want to respond since many other people wanted to?
Sorry, what was the claim there that right?
That a
Blackpool
big
Tower-
object in the background is
519.
going to be blocked by a small object in the foreground when it's
And it's
above
only-
your eye level.
It's only
Okay.
1.6 miles away.
Done.
Right, hold on, wait a minute. So, I think the ice blast is like 55 meters tall, right?
Yeah, 180 feet.
And Blackpool Tower is
519.
519. So, and you're going to claim that? What did you say
Wait,
it was?
how
that
did
it
you
was like-
hijack this again?
So it's
Yeah.
it's about 30% taller. Blackpool Tower is, which the ice blast should be.
Hold on, just 30% taller. Are you sure about that?
Yes, roughly. It's right there to the left. There it is. Right.
Have you not measured it? Have you not measured it? You're just going to say roughly. You're not going to make a.
Yeah, what, just observing it, looking at it. It should
Yeah,
be
that's what I meant.
half.
You know, you're just going to make that up.
Yeah, he's asking you for the dimensions. Whoever's asking me the question, he wants. It's
Yeah, I'm
158
looking at the image, and I'm just trying to validate that he says it's just 30% difference.
How tall did you say the ice
I'll
blast?
keep
How
listening.
tall did you say the ice blast was? Sorry, in meters.
180 feet.
Right, but
okay,
the
so
tower is 158 meters. I don't know what that is in feet, but that's 3 times taller.
It's 500.
Well, I successfully debunked that image. Thank you very much, guys. I'll keep
Wait a
listening.
minute. Are you?
Ice cut off.
Do you want
Yeah,
to?
Jose.
Do you really want to stick to that claim? Are you sure?
Yes,
Yeah, I think
100%. It's
you're in
much
trouble.
closer to the observer. That's why.
I don't know. There are 2 or 3 people talking at the
They
same
have
time.
to-
I'm out. I'm
Yeah.
out. I'll keep listening.
Yeah, bye.
Okay. Well,
Let me make one
present-
point, guys. I got one point that's
No,
very important.
no, there's already too many points going right now. Jose got
This is the
5.
only
Yeah, no,
actual
it-
point.
Let Don finish.
Dude,
Let Don
Jose's
finish.
fucking point got hijacked.
It's the same
Oh.
same point.
Okay, so I
Well,
present,
yeah, but
I'm presenting I'm presenting an image now that's been cropped out. So obviously this is the image that you guys have been talking about, and as you can see, there's the top of the tower up right here.
Hold on
and,
a minute.
And there's the ice blast.
Okay.
At the top of the ice blast.
Real quick.
And if I
Sorry,
if I put, I'm presenting. Do you have to interrupt?
I'm new to Discord. I don't know how to get to the screen.
Well, shut the fuck up then. Right.
Oh,
Thanks, sir.
damn, Ranty.
Thank you. Right.
You'll see at the top of the
Yeah,
list of the
fuck.
people in the show channel. Click on Ranty's name.
So here we have a rectangle that's covering the top of this. Where'd you get this 30% from?
About half of it. It's a little over half the size. It should, but that's not the thing. Is the
Right.
Black
Okay.
Tower
So
should,
let's do it another way.
Black Tower should be two
let's do it from
times
there.
taller than that.
Right. Let's do it from there, and then we go up to there. That's not.
You understand?
30%.
It should be.
Hold on. That's
roughly
not 30%.
about half the size. It should be 3 times the height of that.
Yeah, but you're not going down to the base here, right? You do realize that
we're looking up.
You see that wheel here? You see the wheel?
Yes.
Right?
Been seeing that. Been figured that out.
Right. Okay. So right where this black line is, right down at the bottom, that's essentially where the promenade is going to be. That's where the promenade is going to be roughly, and essentially that's where the bottom of that's going to be too. And I just don't get it. I don't get,
Okay, so that's 590 feet.
with this.
That's 180 feet. Blackpool Tower is 519 feet. That's only 80 feet.
180 feet.
Are you not getting that? It's much
No.
closer to the observer.
It's not that much closer.
At one point, not much. Yes, 1.62 miles away from each other. It's 10.7. I got it written down. It's 10.7 miles to that.
What are you using to measure? Are you measuring from
I'm getting
you
the
to
information
the
from the internet.
tower?
What they tell me.
Yeah, but Ranty.
I will.
The more atmosphere, the more magnification. So if the mountains are magnified.
I'll tell you what I will do. Based upon what you've said, I will go back and analyze this tomorrow and come back to you with an answer for that.
All right. Sounds great.
Is that okay?
Consider this, Ranty. Consider this. I've been waiting all show to make this one comment. Okay, the more there's a lot of distance between the Blackpool Tower and the mountain. So, given that extra 30, 40 miles, whatever it is, the more atmosphere, the more magnification. Especially with a white background like that, the more magnification. So if it's magnified, if that mountain's magnified, then all of your measurements are void because you're measuring the mountain too big compared to the part you can't see. And I think Sky Free demonstrated that because his button in the back that was further, it got bigger and it moved upward, and that would invalidate. You couldn't do geometry on that button that was further away. And I think it's an easy demonstration that explains it all.
Yeah, the problem is that do you see that saddle to the side of Blackpool Tower? Do you see that massive saddle?
I don't think you're sharing anymore, are you, Ranty?
Sadly,
Somebody's sharing. I've definitely seen somebody. Is it Brandon? Is Brandon sharing? Hopefully Brandon's sharing his screen.
By the way, are we aware that the ice blast is further away than the tower?
It's not. It's nearer. The ice blast is nearer to the tower than the tower.
And it's not, that mountain ain't a billboard either. It ain't just a billboard that you can do geometry on straight up.
That's what I meant to say. In other words, the tower's further away, therefore you wouldn't expect it to be that much bigger. It's being reduced in size.
Shouldn't the mountain be a little bit tilted? And because the ground's curved, you've got, if you make a horizontal from your feet,
No,
you need
you don't know what a tilted. How would you tell whether a
The
mountain is
problem is
tilted?
that saddle.
Yeah, how would you tell?
The definitive height of that.
He said it's dropping away, so it must have started to tilt for it to be dropping away.
No, the tilt you would not be able to get
that's
the drop
when
you
the
can.
tilt happens, when
No,
when
you
something
don't
starts.
perceive tilt. You
Yeah,
don't
that-
perceive tilt.
I didn't say you did.
Oh, okay. Well, what's the point then? I thought you were implying there was something you
Because
could
it's there, it should be measurable. I didn't say you would
How?
perceive it.
How would you
Well,
measure
that's
that?
your problem. You're the one that thinks they live on a ball.
I don't think you can measure
That's
that.
your problem.
Right, can I make a point?
Yeah, because there isn't any.
Hold on, guys, can I make a point, please?
See,
you know,
you pointed out something we can't measure. Well done.
Can I make a point? That saddle is, you know, that dip to the right hand side of the tower, where the base of that dip is, which is hidden in shadow, bearing in mind, is 400 meters above sea level. Above sea level.
You're not sharing anything, Ratty. We don't know what you're talking about.
Brandon's sharing it.
Hey, let me ask one question, Randy. What is the distance of the elevation that's missing? The claimed elevation that's missing? What is the overall distance from the viewer to the spot where you can start to calculate for it? What
Okay,
is the
so
distance?
may I ask a question to you? Have you watched the presentation that I put out?
Yeah, I watched it. on
So you will
podcast.
have that information then. So why are you asking me it now?
Because I wasn't real clear on the distance from where you're
Well, it's
claiming.
really clear in the video. If you watch the
No.
video,
Where you're claiming the obstruction starts though.
it's real clear in the video if you've watched the video.
I know you gave distances, Randy, but
No, I didn't just give the distances.
So that's I'm refusing to answer, basically.
You know, it's like I didn't just give distances. There was
Well, I'm trying to get
trigonometry
to a
used. There was pixel counts used, which was from Ruhif, and then there was this part of mine, which was actually what you can see on the mountain.
How
which
can
is
you
the-
use pixels when in half an hour that looked like an accordion?
Guys, why do you interrupt me? Let me just
If you
finish my
can't
point.
answer that, maybe you can
Let
answer
me
this,
just
Randy.
finish. Can I just finish my point? That, you know, we've had trigonometry used by cats, which I also validated. We've had pixel counts used by Ruhif to decipher where the base of that mountain should be, which I also validated.
You've already said all that, Randy.
Can I just finish? For
People
fuck's
interrupt when
sake.
they are threatening and afraid. They interrupt then.
Yeah, every time I get to my point, every time I get to my point, which is the most interesting for flat earthers because it's something that you can actually see, right?
So don't answer my question and repeat everything again.
They interrupt. So the third point is that saddle all the way down to the shadow of the base, where that purple triangle goes down to, that is 400 meters above sea level, right? And I know where eye line is, right? And I know that there's 350 meters of drop on that mountain in relation to Blackpool Tower. There's absolutely no question about it. And Bev actually repeated that. He went down.
So if the mountain was
Hold on. He went and he repeated the observation, and it showed the same saddle with the same drop. It's conclusive.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but if the mountain was magnified,
I keep saying it because it's true.
Would you be able to do trig on it and apply it like that if the mountain was magnified?
Yeah, and when you do that trig, are you using the curved amount of land on the ground, or are you turning it into a straight
Wait, I
line?
wanna see if
And
he'll
if you're
give an
turning it
honest
into a
answer,
straight
though.
line, are you shortening it? Like,
No.
how do you do this trig?
Listen, I've got a full presentation ready to go and to debate anybody. If you want to talk about
If the
angular
mount-
size
I've
and
got
things
the
getting
one
smaller
question.
at distance, I've got it ready. If you want to talk about
the mountain-
shrinking of the mountain, I've got it ready. I've actually shrunk the mountain.
Why are
and
you
say what it
dodging
should
me?
No, I
look
just
like
want to
to
know
shrink
about
the
straight
mountain.
or curved
Listen,
bottoms on a triangle.
the simple
Hey,
fact
let me
is,
my question. See if he's
shut
honest.
up, shut up, shut the fuck up. The top of that mountain is
Answer
only
the fucking
seen.
question then, Randy. Goddamn.
Well, stop interrupting. The top of that mountain is the only part that's being seen. The bottom of the
You
mountain
keep
is
fucking saying that, but you
So
won't
you
answer my
see it on the
question.
left-hand side.
You are afraid,
bottom-
Brian League.
The bottom of the mountain
No,
is
he's frustrated because Randy's monologuing a bit. Come
well
on.
below, well below eye line.
You
Well
won't answer
below
my
eye
simple
line.
question. If the
Are
mountain's
you-
magnified, could you use that geometry and trigonometry on it?
Why would the mountain be magnified as not Blackpool Tower?
I'm just asking you if it was magnified, if the mountain's
it was-
further away with more
It was
atmosphere, if it's
definitely being
magnified,
distorted
could you then perform,
because
excuse me,
that time
Faye,
lapse shows.
could you then perform
No, that
Brian, you're giving a bad name.
That's
You're giving a bad name to
magnified.
Florida people, Brian. You're giving bad name to Florida, bro.
He's
Come
fine.
on, do something.
You know, the simple fact is that this observation was absolutely proved to be accurate when Bev went and repeated the same observation. So based upon
Accurate for what though, Ranty?
that, the same
It's only
saddle.
it's
The same
accurate for that
saddle on the
second,
right-hand
yeah,
side.
and then a minute later it looks different. So if you took a
No,
picture
it's not a
5
minute
minutes later, it would
That's
look different.
That's just Bev
No, it
trying
It
to
would
fucking
look
hijack.
different.
No, you know he zoomed in and he zoomed out on that. Do you know that? You don't know that.
Ranty, it's
because
a
you didn't do the
time
analysis
lapse I
on
can
this.
watch
Listen,
with
I
my
don't want to
own eyes,
listen.
and I see it distorting.
Paige, I don't listen. I'm not going to fall out with you, but I'm going to tell you the truth. You zoomed in,
Well,
zoomed
I
out.
hope not. We're only having a
Also,
conversation about a
I
picture.
know, but I'm trying to tell you that it was deceptive. And even then, that fucking
No, I
mountain.
think that was very
Listen,
honest,
even
showing that
then,
how much it
even
changes,
then,
how quickly.
even
Paige, give me a second.
even then, the mountain didn't
Sorry.
go higher than the tower. It didn't go higher than the tower, right? And on a plane, it would have to have done it. It didn't even do that. It was
No,
like a little bit of a wiggle, Fermat's principle shit. You know,
If you
the
take that
simple
physical
fact
No, we
is,
don't claim on a plane it would be higher. See, that's the problem. You've built
about
this
40
entire
miles
straw
away from the
man,
tower.
and you're burning this total straw man. It's
it's
just,
not a straw man.
it's
It's an image.
insane to me. It
Paige.
is a
It's an
straw
image.
man.
It's about
We
40
don't
miles
claim
away
that,
from the tower.
Ranty.
It's an image,
You
Paige.
are the only one claiming this, that the
No, I'm
mountain
not.
should do that.
No, I'm
You
not.
are.
Trigonometry
You and the
proves it.
ballers.
No, trigonometry proves it.
What, okay,
Which
so what did you
accounts
do
for
on the
perspective.
bottom of
Which
your
accounts
trig?
for
Did you have the curved line of the globe, or
No,
did you change
it was
it to a
done on a
straight
plain
line?
page. It was done on a plain page.
Okay, so did you shorten the amount? Because when you turn
Yes,
the
Tommy
curved line,
Gronfeld did a video that shortened it and zoomed in and zoomed out and actually moved the camera forward and moved out.
and how do you know where the bottom of that mountain was when the tower's in front of it?
Because we have eyeline. We have eyeline because we know where the
No,
fucking,
you don't. The tower's in front of it, blocking it.
Page. You see that wheel? See the wheel on, like two
No, I'm
thirds on
talking
the
about the
left.
bottom of the mountain, not the wheel.
Yeah, you see the wheel on the left-hand side. You see the wheel?
Yes, I know there's a Ferris wheel there,
Yeah,
but I'm
and that's
saying, how
right on
did
the-
you measure to
listen,
the bottom of
hold
the
on.
mountain?
No, it's being blocked by a roller coaster. Don't
Let
even
me
go there.
finish.
Bunch of
Let me
other
finish.
stuff. Don't even go.
You
Don't
wanted
even
to know
try
where
it.
eyeline was, and I'm showing you where eyeline was. And that's where eyeline was because we know where the Ferris wheel is. So
At
we
that
absolutely.
moment of the picture, 5 minutes later, it will look different, just like that time lapse showed.
No, it doesn't. Well,
Ranty.
Paige, no, Paige. You're
Sorry,
absolutely
darling, but
no, it doesn't
I'm
move
sorry.
like
I'm
that.
sorry, but
It doesn't
it's
move like
nonsense that you
honey. It
think you
doesn't
can measure a picture
move like
with.
that.
It doesn't look 350
So honestly, darling,
meters
it is
different.
nonsense. You think
It
you can
doesn't
measure a
move like
picture.
that. It doesn't move like that. I'm
Alright,
sorry.
gang
Listen,
Well, that's why
there had
there's a
to be-
time lapse
there had
of
to
it,
be a
right,
big
Ranty? Because it
reason.
doesn't move like that.
There had to
Come
be a
on,
big reason
mate.
for me to change after
It
5 years
doesn't
of
move
research.
like that. It doesn't move like that, and
After
that's why
5
we've
years
got
of
a time
research,
lapse of it
after
moving
5
like
years
that,
of
right?
research, I don't just switch
YouTube
on a
chat.
whim.
Please,
Road one. If you
please,
think Ranty, if you
please
think
address what I'm
Page is worse than the
saying.
Rumpus, press one. If you think Rumpus is worse than Page, press two. Thank you.
I just want to see if he's honest. I want him to answer
Oh,
my question.
fuck off,
If the mountain was
Jose.
magnified, I just want him to see if he's honest. I want to see if
Fucking
he answers
little
my question. If he
divisive
answers it
troll.
honestly, I'm good.
All right,
Granted, if the
hey
mountain
guys,
was
it's
magnified,
it's after
you could
8.
apply a trig to it.
We can continue this. Let me read a couple super chats and then I'm going to end the show. You guys can keep talking, obviously, but let me read these real quick. Cleary, $2. Not Ranty's image. I don't know what that means. Cleary, $2. Ranty flat waterer. And Humans of Earth, aka Gem. Who is the wrongest flatty? 1 Cleary, 2 Flatzoid. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that. Thanks to the panel. It's very interesting. I'll keep recording when I get back. After I end the show, you guys can keep talking. So, Ranty, you and Brian are talking about a debate in the background, or sounded like you guys hadn't talked yet?
Well, I think I don't know whether it was cross wires or something, but I definitely put a challenge out to the FE debate team on Quantum Eraser's channel last night, and said, I'll debate anybody on this image. It doesn't matter. I spent 2 months and have got like I don't know how many images about the proof of this being dropped, and I will absolutely debate anybody on that. And Brian stepped up and said that he will debate me, and I'm absolutely 100% ready for this. And I was hoping that you said that he'd been in touch with you, which is great. So let's make it happen. Let's get it on. and we can lay out the you know, unedited, you know, unbastardized, you know, proofs of what's going on here, because it seems like, you know, there's a lot of obfuscation going on from a lot of these channels, and I just want to get the truth out there.
All right. You guys let me know which night, and you're going to make a fine asset for the Globe, Ranty. You've already picked up some of their rhetorical arguments as well, so I think you're going to do just fine. And I'm looking forward to hearing you take on Brian and whoever else. So once you guys talk, just let me know. All right.
Okay,
Thanks
we'll do.
Cool.
We'll do.
Thanks to the panel, guys. Appreciate it, and I'll be right back.
Boom.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks to the mods out in chat for holding it down out there. We'll be back tomorrow night. I don't know. We'll have this debate between Ranty and Brian's logic sometime this week. I guess we're just going to talk about this picture. That's what we do in Flat Earth now. We talk about this picture that shows the same thing that we've been talking about for years. Another optical observation that we're going to argue over to death and never get anywhere. So something to look forward to. And no, Askin, I'm not playing any game. No, I'm not. I think this whole thing is ridiculous, and it's kind of a charade. But whatever. Anyway, it's kind of disappointing to see Ranty becoming a baller, using the same arguments that cats use. But it is what it is. If you think about it, he pulled the exact same thing Jose pulled. Jose went out, found that one photograph of that tower in the background, water tower, I think it was in his case, and said, nope, this water tower, that changed my mind. I've thought about it for a long time, and now I'm a baller. And then he went on to become the Jose JG that we know now. Same exact thing. He even talked to cats as well. Isn't that weird? You know who else the same thing happened with? Seek Truth, Speak Truth, who nobody I know had ever heard of him before he supposedly switched from the globe to, or from Flat Earth to the globe. Nevertheless, same thing with him. He just all of a sudden one day decided he didn't want to mindlessly follow Eric Dubay and started mindlessly following the globe. And then he got all kinds of attention, including from cats. So, I don't know. Kind of weird. Just some coincidences. But, all right. We'll have fun. Should be a good debate. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow night. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks again. Bye.